The truth behind illusion.
Split screen somehow. There we are. Hey! Hooray! Ladies and gentlemen, episode number 10.
10.
Double digits. We're doing it.
We are two whole hands now.
We are two whole hands.
Two whole hands.
We are... The Holy Ghost 3 times plus 1. Or 2 times plus 1. No. 3 times plus 1.
I am not a math
No, it's 3. 3 total.
Oh, boy.
There were things in threes.
Yeah.
So 3 total.
Tree, and 1.
Yeah, tree, and
So
1.
3 plus 1 is 4.
Three times... Three times plus 1.
You might need to turn Andy's mic down a little bit.
Yeah, he projects. Yeah. He's very good. He has a big boy voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
whoa! Turn that off.
Sorry, wanted to share this on my wall too.
Well, he's got a big boy voice.
He's bringing his big boy voice to the show tonight. All right, voice is already out of the way.
It's gonna be a good one.
If you guys like what you hear, make sure you check the links below. Follow us on all social media. Head over to the Tube of Yube. Follow us there. I just made that up.
Matt Hardy.
Tube of Yube.
Yeah, I am wearing Matt Hardy.
Yeah. The honorable ring.
Yeah. The honorable ring. Yeah. So we also have merchandise. Go grab some cool merch. We will have some new merch coming to the store very soon with your face on it.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I'm super excited,
You're gonna
actually.
You're gonna be a witch.
I love that. I'm so excited to do that for you.
And you can your kids can have a shirt with your face on.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. My mother-in-law's going to love that.
And a dog.
And your
you can get a
dogs.
dog hoodie.
That's
There's
really
so
cute.
much. I don't think we do usually dog hoodies, but if you want a dog hoodie, I'll put yours in the dog hoodie too.
That'd be
So
so cool.
that's kind of the rule that our guest always gets a logo. So be on the lookout for that.
A graphic.
Yeah, a graphic. So tonight's episode, we're going to cover the Salem witch trials.
Hell yeah, we are.
I don't know much about it. I just know that men were confused and upset by women's power, and they're like, they got to be witches. Ban them.
Some men, though, too. Were,
Some men were
yeah.
killed too.
warlocks. I don't know if they knew that word. back
Hey,
then.
you know, if we,
Well, you know what accent you have to do? Think of where Salem is.
Boston.
Yeah. It's only like 30 miles north.
Wait, I like
Can
that.
you do it?
Hi to your mother for me.
I like the
We're
other
gonna
one
throw her in the river.
better. Yeah.
Jack to one again.
Hey, I can't be a witch. Yeah, you're a little light in the loafers. You got to be a witch. That's not me making fun of. I'm just for the time. It was for the time. I got to be careful.
No one knows what that means anyway.
Yeah,
unless
nobody knows
unless
what
you're
it
over
means.
55.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got,
It makes no sense. It
He's
makes
got
absolutely no
a little
sense.
sugar in his tank. We got to burn him with a steak. He's got to be a
That's
warlock.
your 1920s guy voice.
I love
We were
it.
just talking about that. Oh, you giggle water.
Yeah, we talked about that in the stream. You got to get a girl some giggle water. Got to loosen up a bit.
Because in the 1920s, it was a slang term for alcohol. It was giggle water.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know they're always selling their tonics and potions and stuff.
Yep.
I just like
Kill it
that
all.
too.
Giggle water.
Wendy, how are you doing?
Hi, Mom.
Holly, welcome to the stream.
Hi, Holly.
I didn't even see that the mic was in the way. I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
don't see no comments.
You can
Sorry.
see from
We got
across
you
the
this
room.
time.
So.
Yeah. Here, I'll turn it a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. No, your mic was like totally blocking it
Wendy,
out.
just to let you know, we did high five. We took care of that. Yeah, we did that high five that you were talking about.
Yep.
So introduce yourself. Let's talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Jen.
Jen is always in the chats, so she's now not chatting tonight. She's here with us.
Can you still be in the chat though?
Yeah.
Just hop on really quick.
You have become like a super fan of the podcast, which I'm super appreciative of. It's really cool. I really appreciate this. Like, I would say, we're very like-minded people. We're people in our area. We're blue collar. I mean, we work, we do our thing, but you show a lot of support to local stuff, and I think that's very important. And I really want to commend you for that. And I think that's super, like you have a Toolshed Jack tattoo.
Oh wow!
And this is not a knock to Toolshed Jack, but I don't think there's anyone in the world who has their favorite local cover band tattooed on.
I
like,
love that.
There's some guy from 10 years ago that has the UUU tattoo.
Yeah, or like rhymes with orange or something. You know what I mean? Like
Sapphire. What is still around?
yeah, Sapphire's still a thing. But like,
No, what was the one? Kings and Queens or something. They always play the block party in Pottsville at the Humane.
Oh, I don't even.
I think it was King, but it was like, of course, with a Y. To be different, you know?
What is it? What's the other one? 3 hot dogs and a donut. That was a legit band. It was 3 dudes and a girl.
That's so funny.
And they call it 3 hot dogs and a. But anyway, yeah, I really want like your support for the local music scene is amazing, and we have a lot of in common with that because we do support the local music. You also like follow Hooligan and stuff around and. All the, like both bands are just filled with amazing, great people. Had them on the show, but no, like so, and then we met at the Black Diamond.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we talked, and we've been cordial and friends ever since. And then you found out about the podcast. I think you were one of the first people to buy a hoodie.
Wow.
Yeah, so like when I just came out with the merch page and nobody was buying it, and you were like the first one to really go out and take a picture and put it up there, and people were like, oh, this is a thing, and then other people bought it. She bought the Banging Beers beer hub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, I knew.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
I knew everything I needed to know about Jen and that one purchase. I was like, she's cool.
Yep, she's sticking with us.
Yeah, but yeah. So we really appreciate the support. It does suck tonight because we're down 1 viewer now.
Wait, let me get on there real quick.
So we went from 3 to 2 now tonight.
Well, Alex is supposed to be watching, so I sent him the link. So if he pops on there,
Wendy says you look good, by the way. She says,
Thanks, Mom.
Tori, you look.
She
Oh
gave,
no, you look fly.
like fly. She was telling me she was like, I'm gonna tell you look fly on the podcast tonight. And I was
you
like,
can't be giving all your secrets.
Yeah. You just drop it on her.
Jen also brought me these earrings.
They both got Dreamcatcher earrings.
Yeah.
They actually
Go ahead, plug your
yours
thing,
does also kind of have the
shield
Avengers
eagle,
look.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Avengers thing, or a Dreamcatcher. So what is it that you do?
We sell, my mother-in-law and I, we sell paparazzi jewelry. Everything's $5, and I mean, I'm not saying, but I bought it before I started selling it, and it's just like phenomenal jewelry. Like this, you see this giant ring on my hand?
Yeah, I saw that on the picture that you posted on
So that would be
Facebook today. It looks
I
so
hope
pretty.
this isn't a knock because obviously I don't wear much jewelry, but it's like cost. They call it costume
Yeah,
jewelry.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good quality though. I mean, I bought a ton of it before I started selling it, so it kind of worked itself out. Now I make money, so
Yeah.
it's
Heck
even
yeah,
better.
that's great. Hit her up if you want some cheap, really fun jewelry. You're like, look how fun this is. Look like a dream catcher.
Yeah, half the podcast merchandise money we make is just me buying our stuff. Like the people that are part of the show buying it are like, we're making money, guys. It's all coming back.
It works.
But yeah, it's cool. I like it. You do live streams every Friday.
Friday at 9, yes.
So we will. I don't have it right now, but send me your link. Do you have a page? Like a
We
special
do.
Page?
We have a group, yeah.
Send me your group and we'll tag it so
Okay,
people can
awesome.
go to it.
Appreciate
I
that.
should have done that before we started, but we started talking. We were telling stories. Usually, there's a whole podcast before the podcast starts.
There is. Yeah.
stuff that we
it's
probably-
the warm-up conversation.
Yeah.
And then Tony goes, all right, go. And the guest goes,
I'm like, I just panicked.
I was like, my music is now. What do you do?
what do you do?
Yeah, so we're going to cover the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
So officially, we are in the prison. We talked about that. That's happening.
Not right now. Not right now. We're not in the prison.
Who knows?
If you're not
Who
watching,
knows?
if you're only listening, we're not.
Yeah, oh yeah. So
Yeah, we're not really here
if
right
you're
now.
audio only, we are not sitting in a prison right now, but we are going to the Jim Thorpe prison. We're very, very excited to bring that content for you guys. We may, hopefully, we have some, but hopefully we have a lot more by the time we get to these locations. We may have some ghost hunting equipment.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have a temperature thing. We're gonna buy an EMF
So
detector.
cool.
Yeah.
I have
The
no. I
temp guns are
have
like
I have an
$30.
EMF.
Oh, do you? Okay,
I bought
cool.
the
But it won't
EMF,
hurt.
so don't.
I mean, if he has,
I mean,
if
that's
he-
true.
If he
but-
wants to get it, like,
But
he
if
can
we
get it.
just want to have, I
I have
have
a
it.
proton pack coming, so
we're gonna get a spirit box. We're gonna get a temperature gun.
I recently bought a Theremin. which is like that instrument that when you put it just goes like.
Yeah.
It's just like, and what it is you set it up and it has like a metal antenna, and it just has to do with like if you get closer and closer to the antenna, it makes sounds.
Okay.
So I want to set it up and like do whatever, and just like set and just see if like something like gets closer
The only thing,
to it.
the only thing I'm saying.
That reminds me of a 50s sci-fi
Yeah,
movie.
and that's how they make the sounds and whatnot.
Yeah. The only thing I don't want to do, I don't want those stupid sticks.
Oh, the divining rods?
Oh, the dowsing rods.
We're not looking for water.
Yeah.
I will never take that seriously ever.
Well,
But
you know what? You know what our shtick is gonna be? I'm gonna do it.
I won't believe you.
I just have the
buy them.
temperature gun.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get coat hangers and just
68 degrees.
Yeah, we're gonna get temperature guns, spirit boxes, EMF detectors, cameras. We have like
PKE meter.
4 cameras, so each one of us gonna have a camera on us. So we're gonna have some fun.
Is my mother-in-law on there? Millie Myers. I can't see.
Millie, yeah, Millie's here.
Oh, hey,
Millie Myers,
that's my
yeah.
mother-in-law.
Hi, Millie.
Cool.
Millie's a sweetheart.
Your
I
partner in
met
crime.
Millie, right?
Yes, you did.
I met Millie at the Luau
Yes.
A luau.
And Alex
Sorry,
said
as
he
I-
was here too.
as I
But-
take a sip. Alex Meyer, I see him. He said,
Hi,
"I'm here."
everyone.
Yeah. Look at you guys hanging out.
It's because
I
I'm sitting
love the
here.
chat.
The mic
Michelle,
is blocking the chat.
Michelle, I'm wearing my pin from your wedding still. It's made its way to my
Aw,
hat.
that's so cute.
That's my wedding pin. I love her to death. I'm sorry we had to leave
Wedding
early. So with my body thing, the wedding was outdoors and it got really cold and I was in so much pain.
Ouch.
And I had to cut a little. And then I didn't realize that they had a game plan where it was like the newlywed game, but they wanted to do like a bunch of different married couples, and
Hilarious.
and you should have told me. I would have 100% stayed, but they were gonna have me and Heidi go up and do it.
That would have been hilarious.
We would have tore that place apart.
Where's the last place you made whoopee? Remember that was always in the 70s?
Oh, I don't.
Whoopee.
There would have been no. There would have been no
That
shame.
was for when the kids were watching.
Yeah.
They don't know what that means.
Well, I used to come on 11 in the morning.
There would have been no
Scandalous.
shame. I would have said it all in front of this entire wedding.
Poor Heidi. God love you.
Yeah, I would have.
I
went
said
in.
to her, like looking up like she's dead. Like,
God
she's
bless her.
upstairs.
God rest her soul.
Rest her soul.
We actually started
he
this
finally
podcast.
killed her.
We started this podcast to talk to my dead wife.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when he's shopping, he's like, God rest her soul. He's like, oh, is she bad or is she dead? And she's like, no, we're just divorced. I'm just shopping for some lingerie for her. I'm like, what? I love that movie.
That's such a good one.
Is there a ghost behind your curtain? No, the wind is blowing it.
The window's open.
It is a little warm in here.
Is that what did my mom ask that?
Yeah, she's because we did say like we want to like hopefully one day if like a ghost goes by the screen, but it's not probably not gonna
I
happen.
love that.
Maybe at the prison or
Just
something.
wanted to walk by, just like eating like pork rinds or something. Just like
Yeah. And then we got we fully booked for Gettysburg, so we are
Yes.
doing the Gettysburg trip, and then we also bought tickets to which is super cool. We got tickets.
Eastern
go
State
to
Penitentiary.
Eastern
I felt that you forgot the name.
Eastern State Penitentiary, but like the coolest part is we're doing it. I don't know if this matters. I think the aesthetic of it is cooler, but we're doing it Halloween night.
which I mean there is validity to it because on Halloween night is when the veil is the thinnest.
Between the realms.
I don't buy that at all. It's like when people say like ghosts are spookier at night. No, in your head it's spookier at night. Yeah, so,
It is. The veil is the thinnest Halloween.
So it's easier to cross over, is what they're saying.
And
That's why there's All Hallows Eve, there's Day of
Samhain.
the Dead, Samhain, yes, Samhain.
yeah, bullshit. Anyway, there's also Christmas. All right, we celebrate a zombie baby.
No, it's Easter.
No, that's Easter. Yeah, we
He
celebrate.
was a baby that then turned into a zombie later.
That's true. But at
He
at
was an
Christmas,
adult.
He was a grown
Yeah.
man. He had a beard.
I like baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus is
Lord,
my
baby
favorite.
Jesus.
I like to mix two Jesuses together. I'm going to hell.
That's why you're the devil. You're fine.
That's why I'm the devil. But we are deciding, I think, I don't know if Rish and Andy are doing it, but we're going to go in costumes. It is because it's Halloween. I'm not going to be elaborate. I'm literally wearing a giant onesie.
Oh, okay.
Because it's nothing like being terrified and
I
being
still
scared.
need someone to be Mulder because I'm going as Scully, and then Scully is nothing without her
Can
Mulder.
I be a mix between Mulder and him in Californication?
I think I do is
Yes.
wear a little
Like a sex addict? Yeah. Just drinking beer and doing drugs. What but I'm also into the sci-fi kind of.
I also believe in aliens. Like my sister was taken.
That'd be a hell of a reference if I understood anything other than that.
So the guy who plays
Yeah, don't go into it. Don't worry, I don't care. I don't care.
X-Files, right?
Yeah,
I never watched X-Files.
my
X-Files, the
favorite.
guy who's in X-Files is the same guy who played in Californication.
David Duchovny.
David Duchovny. And then he went into sex rehab after Californication because it.
Are we surprised?
Yeah, but he didn't go to therapy for alien abduction after he did X-Files.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or
Sex is
horrors,
a-
general horrors of the unknown.
All right, let's get into the fucking
All right.
show.
I was telling you to skip that. I don't give a shit about Californication.
It's a good show.
I thought it was a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
It also is.
God love you guys. Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, buddy. Here we go.
Charlie.
And on to the show.
Okay, so I pulled up the history channel, history.com. So I'm going to start reading it. The infamous Salem witch trials began during the spring of 1692 after a group of young girls in the Salem Village, Massachusetts, claimed to be possessed by the devil and accused several local women of witchcraft. As a wave of hysteria spread throughout the colonial Massachusetts, a special court converted in Salem to hear the cases. The first convicted witch, Bridget Bishop, was hanged in was hanged in June. 18 others followed Bishop to Salem's Gallow Hill, while some 150 more men, women, and children were accused over the next several months.
There we go, men. We're accused.
See.
Yeah. By September of that year, the hysteria had begun to abate in public. To abate in public opinion turned against the trials. Through the Massachusetts General Court, later annulled guilty verdicts against accused witches and granted
Anonymity.
there you go to their
A
families.
fancy word.
A fancy word. Bitterness lingered through the community, and the painful legacy of the Salem witch trials would endure for centuries.
Can you imagine going to the courthouse and just trying to set this all up? Yeah, we think a couple of them are witches up there.
Could you imagine as
And they're like-
as a human being,
They're
you're
like
like
casting spells.
is this real life? Like I'm defending the fact if I'm a witch.
Yeah.
Is this where we are?
Them damn Puritans.
She made a meal with spices.
She puts pineapple on her pizza.
Yeah.
Burner!
Yeah. Well, I didn't even have pizza. Like, what were they doing that was so outrageous? That was like, oh my god, she's inhuman.
Well, let me.
I just want to add something. I want to add something. Real quick.
Bridget Bishop, I love that name.
I love that.
If you guys are watching too, hit that share button. Some cool stuff will happen on screen. Maybe some spooky ghosts will pop up.
Wendy
So
said,
hit
"Woohoo!"
the like and share the stream. Let people know that you're watching this podcast. The best way this grows is by word of mouth and by you guys helping out with that. And if, like I said before, check the links below for all that fun stuff. So the Salem witch trial was, obviously in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 to May 1693. More than 200 people were accused. 30 were found guilty, 19 of whom were executed by hanging, 14 women and 5 men. One other man, Gills Corey, was pressed to death
Yeah.
for refusing to plead.
What does that mean? They just
Literally put him
smushed
in between like
Two
stone
rocks.
slabs
Oh, wow.
and just crushed him.
His name not as cool as Bridget.
And at least 5 people then died in jail. So that's a little bit of to add on to what you were saying about the time length and exactly how many people and stuff. So yeah, let's get into what maybe they did to make them witches and warlocks.
Yeah.
They had a cat that lived to be 14 years old. It's like,
That's longer than most
Yeah.
humans nowadays.
Ooh, well, actually, arrests were also made. Numerous arrests were also made in towns beyond Salem and
Wow, I didn't know
Salem
that.
Village, known today as the Danvers, notably Andover and Toplesfield. The grand juries for the trials of this capital crime were conducted in the court of Oyer and Terminer in 19... Oyer. You got the car, we'll go to Oyer.
It's in beer.
And,
Get some beer.
in the 1692 and the Supreme Court of Judicature? I don't know.
Judicature.
Cool, I'm with it.
Judicature.
1693, both held in Salem as well, where the hangings also took place.
I believe they hung him in the square. too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right downtown.
And that's weird being there.
I was never
have you
there.
guys ever
No.
been there?
My mom
I
went
wanna
last
go.
year.
Oh my goodness.
It was so weird to walk down. My cousin and I went a couple years back. We went during spring because we didn't really want to go through Halloween because it's.
They said it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
They said
Yeah,
literally
but-
nothing changes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so busy because that's when everyone's.
but
Yeah.
the veil is so much thinner.
Well, yeah.
Eat a donut. Eat a pumpkin donut. But it was so weird walking down. It's a surreal experience when you're walking down the square, you know, and it's just like you just like kind of look over here, and it's just like we're like over on like Gallows Hill and shit like that. It was just bizarre.
I would love to make a trip and go to Salem, and on the way home from Salem, stop at the Lizzie Borden house.
I would love that. I would love that.
I forget what that's in.
It's right out. If you
My mom went there too. They
Yeah.
one day they went there, the next day they went there.
yeah,
Bus trip.
they're not far away from each other, and if you actually can drive past Lizzie Borden house to get to Boston, so you can do it on the way there, or you can do it on the way
Is
home.
it in Boston or is it in Peabody?
It's like I think right outside of Boston. I don't know exactly what
Hold on.
town it's in. I want to say something. Heidi.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
It's a ghost.
It's a fucking
it's Lizzie
ghost.
Borden.
It's a spooky
The
ghost.
fucking basement door flew open, and I didn't,
It's getting to be
My face was-
Halloween time.
face
the
on-
veil is thinning.
my face probably on camera was like, "What just happened over there?"
My eyes were like,
Yeah,
The skeptic and he went, "Oh no."
my butthole clenched up.
It's in Fall River,
Fall River.
Massachusetts.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Fall River, yeah.
Okay.
Fall River, Mass.
So go ahead.
Okay. Belief in the supernatural, and specifically in the devil's practice
Ooh.
of giving certain humans, witches, the power to harm others in return for their loyalty, had emerged in Europe as early as the 14th century and was widespread in colonial New England. In addition, the harsh realities of life in rural Puritan communities of Salem Village.
You never claimed to be smart in this podcast.
Exactly. At the time included after effects of the British War in the American colonies in 1689, a recent smallpox epidemic, the fears of attacks from neighboring Native American tribes, and longstanding rivalries with the more affluent communities of the Salem town, present-day Salem. Amid these simmering tensions, what a phrase.
Attention.
The Salem witch trials would be fueled by residents' suspicions of and resentment towards their neighbors, as well as fear of the outsiders.
Yeah, I found a good article. I'm on Britannica.com.
Ooh, go for it.
This one's pretty cool here. So the hunts were efforts to identify witches rather than pursuits of individuals who were already thought to be witches. So they were trying to find witches, just killing.
You're gonna sniff them
Just-
out,
yeah,
just
ki-
eradicate
killing
all
random
of them.
Kind of
people.
crazy how even at that level, right? So
Yeah.
probably your only media was like a paper boy in the corner, your
Mm-hmm.
newspaper, and that's like there was probably no radio then yet, right? No.
No, my God, no.
I don't know. I don't
They
know.
didn't even have electricity.
Yeah.
The
so
Puritans.
So it was just literally word of mouth, and
Mm-hmm.
you can still get people into mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Well,
at
and
an
they
age.
believed everything, because
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you?
Well, the funniest thing is we think as humans we're so much better than what we were at that point in time, and we're still so gullible. Like you can watch something on the news and be like, "Oh my God, everyone's
Well,
the
the
devil."
perfect example is, I seen this thing on the internet. Oh, did
Yeah.
you click on it? No.
Yeah.
And people just read the headline and they believe the headline.
It's just funny, like
Yep.
it's 1693 and we're killing people for being witches,
Mm-hmm.
but like let a different nationality come to our country and it's like they're the worst people ever.
Yeah, right.
They don't have the same beliefs as us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go back.
It's like
Yeah, history always repeats itself
Yeah.
in one way or another. It's sad.
Witches were considered to be followers of Satan, who had
Hell
traded
yeah.
their souls for his assistance. I'm sure they would listen to metal if it existed. It was believed that they employed demons to accomplish magical deeds, that they changed from human to animal form, or from one human form to another. So I guess Sabrina could turn into Salem. The animals acted as the familiar spirits, which is true. All witches always have familiars in all types of books and everything, and
In
that
the
they
lore.
rode through the air at night to secret meetings and orgies. So
Yeah.
so far they sound great.
yeah.
There is little doubt that some individuals did worship the devil and attempted to practice sorcery with harmful intent. However, no one ever embodied the concept of a witch as previously described. So how about that?
Do you think they came across
Having
like
orgies?
just a bunch of people in their house having an orgy and like they must be witches?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like everything, because like with the Puritans, they were so strict religion, and like we're gonna talk a little bit more about like the young girls that ended up like with Tituba and everything.
1693, 1692, right? So like our country, whether you
it
probably
was pretty fresh yet?
which you whether believe it or not, as when it comes to the history of our country, was not very Christian at its starts. It was a lot of paganism.
Oh yeah.
And then when the Christians kind of made their way over, a lot of values that we still have today were created. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's the guy who brought he was too radical of a Christian in Europe and came here and
then started everything.
And started like
was that Martin Luther or
like
he,
the
I
basis
don't know my
of
religion.
Christianity
Yeah, I
in our country, and a lot of it was like you were killed if you didn't believe.
Oh, yeah.
So I would probably can think a lot of this had to do with that too. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
if you weren't a good Christian, you were then deemed to be evil.
Yeah,
And
these good people back then were not good people. I mean,
No.
yeah, they're literally quoting the same book that says, "Thou shalt not hurt or kill your neighbor," and it's like burn them alive.
Yeah, but in their
she
mind,
flew to an orgy, kill her.
but it's like in their mind, it's just kind of like all that goes out the window because like, well, this didn't happen during Jesus' day, so we need to make our own rules.
We have to, yeah. It's like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
crazy. It's just the craziness of just how like the human mind can just
And then it
just
just
go.
ran away with all
Yeah.
the thoughts. It's insane. So here we go. The process of identifying witches began with suspicion or rumors. Accusations followed, often escalating to convictions and executions. The Salem witch trials and executions came about as the result of a combination of church politics, family feuds, and hysterical children, all of which unfolded in a vacuum of political authority. So imagine that now, like if Trump just said, "Hey, we should kill all blonde people." You know? And they'd be like, "Oh, my shit, they're evil." It's the same thing.
yeah.
As stupid as that sounds, as stupid as this sounded.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then getting into some more of the history, do you have?
No,
any
you
more?
can. I'm just jumping every now and then. 'Cause I
Okay.
have different stuff.
So as going a little bit more, this has to go to one of my I don't want to say favorite stories, but it goes into like the
Interesting history.
interesting history, and it starts to go into like the psychology because this story has to do with like a 9-year-old and 11-year-old girl. So I'll just read it and then I'll tell you my thing. So in January of 1692, 9-year-old Elizabeth Paris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams.
Ooh, that's that.
Right, Abigail
King
Williams.
Diamond wrote a whole album about her.
Oh, interesting. The daughter and niece of Samuel Paris, who is the minister of the Salem village, began having fits, including violent contortions and uncontrollable outbursts of screaming. Sounds like a 9 and 11-year-old girl, but anyway.
Yeah.
A local doctor, William Griggs, diagnosed bewitchment. Other young girls in the community began to exhibit similar symptoms, including Ann Putnam Jr., Mercy Lewis. Mercy Lewis is a cool band name.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hubbard, Mary Walcott, and Mary Warren. In late February, arrest warrants were issued for the Paris's Caribbean slave Tituba, along with 2 other women, a homeless beggar, Sarah Good, and the poor elderly Sarah Osborne, whom the girls accused of bewitching them. So for 1 second, imagine that you're a 9 and 11-year-old girl, and you grow up in this strict Puritan town, and your father is the minister of everything. Just imagine growing up, the psychological damage.
And you're a woman. That's not a great thing.
Yeah.
Imagine the
In the
psychological
16th
damage of you growing up as a young child, and then going through like early puberty, and then people around you just being like, "Oh my God,
It's bewitchment."
And then
She's
having
bewitched.
like your whole life is just completely like off kilter, and so you start having fits. So
But,
it's
like,
it's
How many
it's
times have you seen
crazy.
little girls at grocery stores like
Yeah.
dancing around like that's what they do?
For being kids.
Yeah.
Because it was so strict. It was like the Puritans were always just like I used to give out every Valentine's Day I would give out Puritan Valentine's Day cards, and it was just basically just like it was like I'll come in a minute from the
Don't be a hussy. We'll kill you.
It was basically like that, where it's like the kids weren't allowed to have like dolls. They weren't allowed to have toys because like dolls showed vanity and stuff like that. So it's like you're literally suppressing children. You're suppressing the psychology of a child. And the second that they act out like a child, that's a witch.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what like really, and then the fact with Tituba and everything. So then of course the girls are gonna be like, it was that woman, it was that person. Like, I don't know.
It's
Like that's the part that like
can't
that's
expect
what
the kid to act like an adult.
and then
grinds
if-
my gears.
If realistically, it's a snowball effect too. If you like it just, and this still happens today. If one person can get by in society and say,
Lisa said
"This
that.
is a problem, we need
Hey,
to
Lisa.
stop it," or "This
that
is
might
a
be my
problem."
sister,
Lisa baby.
Lisa Brady.
Lisa
Baby,
Brady.
Lisa.
It's
Hey,
like
Lisa baby.
Hey, Lisa baby.
Listen, baby. But yeah, so it's just like, well, this person, like, we're gonna start this trend, and if you don't believe in our trend, then you're against us. And then this trend takes off, but it's to a point where now people are like dying, and it's like you're still trying to justify. It's like it's crazy to think that it's still this can 100% still happen.
Now, and the thing is, like, a lot of people, like, there are the scientific community has been talked about how there was like an algae or like some sort of like
mold.
I read that. Yeah,
there was some sort of mold that got into like the food and the water system or whatnot that triggered like their like hysteria and everything.
Mold can do stuff. Black mold in your house can give you headaches and make you
but I
make
think
you dizzy,
I
make you
think
see
that-
things.
Yeah.
my opinion, that's a possibility, but I think that's a way for us as humans to justify the fact that why we were crazy pieces of shit.
I could see that too.
Like,
I could see
there's no
both
way
sides.
that we were that crazy and we would just go out of our way to harm people. It had to be mold. Like, no, we were shitheads.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
humans.
sure there was some assholes that thought
I think
that,
there's validity to like the environment having like like maybe at least like sparking some. It's like, but then again, it's that idea of just like the chemtrails, and it's kind of just like, are we like putting stuff in the water to make us a lot crazier, or are we just like terrible humans? So it's like it's I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think there's validity on both sides. I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I gonna say?
Something about dead kids.
Oh,
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's what we're talking about.
Well, if not, I'll go right to this.
Go right ahead.
scene.
Go right ahead.
The
and let me think about
9-11-year-old girl.
So it said that there were in Salem. There were two Salems in the late 17th century. Is how they were. A bustling, commerce-orientated port community on Massachusetts Bay, known as Salem Town, which would evolve into modern Salem, and roughly 10 miles inland from it, a smaller, poorer farming community. I'm gonna think where this most would have happened, and some 500 persons known as Salem Village. The village itself had a notable social divide that was exacerbated. 5 points for that word, by a rivalry between its two leading families, the well-heeled Porters, who had a strong connection with Salem Town's wealthy merchants, and the Putnams, who sought greater autonomy for the village and were the standard-bearers for less prosperous farm families.
the Hatfield and McCoys of Salem.
Squabbles over property were commonplace, and the litigiousness, another 5 points,
Damn.
was rampant. So you got the two families. I didn't know there was actually two different parts of town there.
No, I actually didn't know that either.
I would assume the idiots were probably in the smaller town that thought that they were witches because that little girl's dancing, killing her. So I mean, that's
Or it could be the bigger community.
Or the rich people had the influence and the power and the political gain got the poor middle class people to fight each other to keep.
Keep
Because
them
the first ones that were accused was a beggar woman, a slave, and like
A homeless lady.
a homeless lady and a poor old woman.
So this is a little bit of political context here that I found. New England has been settled by a religious seeking to build a Bible-based society according to their own chosen discipline. The original 1629 Royal Charter of the Massachusetts Bay Colony was vacated in 1684, after which King James II installed Sir Edmund Andros as governor of the Dominion of New England. Andros was ousted in 1689 after the Glorious Revolution in England and replaced by Catholic James II with a Protestant co-rules William and Mary. Simon Bradstreet and Thomas Danforth, the colony's last leaders under the old charter, resumed their posts as governor and deputy governor, but lacked constitutional authority to rule because of the old charter had been vacated. And then it goes on pretty much to say that like these people like were trying to push an agenda here.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what religion does all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, that's where it's usually become now. Organized
Property lines, and church privileges were a constant battle with them, and neighbors considered the population as quarrelsome. Villagers had voted to hire a minister of their own apart from this town of Salem, and the first two ministers. So like people were kind of trying to set like they were revolting against what the political parties and
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
So I found a good one about the fits and contortions here
Oh, go for
about Abigail. So probably stimulated by voodoo tales told them by Tabitula, Paris's daughter. That's one half of the people, like the two few things. Betty, age 9, and his niece. And this Paris's niece Abigail Williams. So that awesome name again. And their friend Ann Putnam Jr. began indulging in fortune telling. So how dare they? What little kid? I'll tell your future. In January 1692, Betty and Abigail's increasingly strange behavior, described by at least one historian as juvenile delinquency,
How dare they?
came
How dare
to
they?
include fits. They screamed, made odd sounds, threw things, contorted their bodies, and complained of biting and pinching sensations. So that's like any little kid ever.
Yeah.
And like that makes them a witch. That little kid threw some witch.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, also too, we condemned kids with possible mental illness.
yeah, what if they had ADHD?
They're still doing that to
Yeah.
this day. Like that's
Yeah.
like being condemned for like certain mental illnesses and everything. I mean, there were still like mental asylums that were like going for
Yeah.
like in like the 70s.
Yeah.
Like it's like
And I mean, some
think
kids are
it's
just
crazy.
really hyper. You know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it says
They're my
here,
favorite.
looking back,
I love
I
hyper
run
kids.
around with them.
Yeah.
Looking back with the perspective provided by modern science, some scholars have speculated that the strange behavior may have resulted from some combination of asthma, encephalitis, I don't know that word, Lyme disease, epilepsy, and child abuse. Well, no shit.
No shit.
Delusional psychosis or convulsive ergotism. The last, a disease caused by eating bread or cereal made of rye that has been infected with the fungus ergot, which they didn't have fridges back then, so probably a lot of their stuff was bad, which can elicit vomiting, choking, fits, hallucinations, and the sense of something crawling on one's skin.
So they're not justifying the actions of the people because of a fungus. They're saying these people got
No.
sick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if they were sick, they probably were
Hallucinations,
bewitched,
yeah.
or they were
It
okay.
causes hysteria. And
or
stuff
they were
like that,
possessed by
so.
the devil.
So listen
Yeah.
to that. The hallucinogen LSD is a derivative of ergot. So imagine if you were high on LSD. You're going to do some weird things.
You're an 8-year-old
Yeah.
girl
Yeah.
and you're tripping balls.
Yeah, right. God bless. Oh my
Sounds kind of
god.
awesome.
Given the subsequent spread of the strange behavior to other girls and young women in the community and the timing of its display, however, those physiological and psychological explanations are not very convincing. The litany of odd behavior also mirrored that of the children of a Boston family who in 1688 were believed to have been bewitched, a description of which had been provided by Congregational minister Cotton Mather. That sounds like a southern man.
Cotton mouth.
I came up here and I seen these girls.
I said
Yeah.
these girls are
Well,
bewitched.
They're bewitched at throwing things.
You know we do
He's a
down
southern
south. We
preacher.
light these things on fire.
Light these girls' hair on fire.
And I blew COVID away with the winter gone. That's Cotton Mather. Oh, he wrote a book. Memorable
Of course
providences
he did.
relating to witchcraft and possessions. 1689. I'd love to read that.
I would love to read that.
And which have-
Shirt holds up today.
Which have been known by the girls in Salem Village. In February, unable to account for their behavior medically, the local doctor, William Griggs, put the blame on the supernatural. At the suggestion of a neighbor, a witch cake made with the urine
Yeah.
of the victims
Yep.
was
the witch
baked by
cakes.
Tituba to ferret out the
Tituba.
supernatural perpetrator of the girl's illness.
So they were using.
Well,
Piss
here's
cake.
the thing. Because here's
Wait,
the thing with
so
Tituba.
they're probably using legit Pennsylvania, like a form of Pennsylvania Dutch or
well,
a
Well,
form
they didn't exist
form
yet.
of Wiccan.
well, no, because Tituba was a slave from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So
had
she
voodoo.
came from a voodoo hoodoo background. So she's using all of the
She's
she
fighting
was,
witchcraft with witchcraft.
well, it's like it's one of those things where it's just like you have like a nanny in the house or like you have like a slave in the house, like she's around the kids and you're the minister, so you must be very busy. So like the slave's gonna take care of the kids, and so if the kid has like a headache or whatnot, she's gonna like grind up some herbs and like say some of her prayers or whatnot, and that is what makes her because of everything. So and
What's-
like
what
they
you
and the
gonna-
witch cakes, yeah, I actually went to Salem and in the witch house, like the one that's all black, they had like a preserved like witch cake
Ugh.
in there.
Eat
my
this.
God.
I
piss.
thought it was sick.
I was going to say, is there a place actually still making witch cake? Like,
I wouldn't put it past it. And I mean,
maybe
I'm
without
very.
actual urine.
I mean-
I hope.
You never know.
I wish that
never
was
know.
in Sabrina. That would have been great.
I mean, did you see Midsommar?
Hand me a witch cake. I'll eat a witch cake before I eat that. Have you ever seen the movie Midsommar? Midsommar?
No, I have not.
I didn't.
There,
either.
it's a movie about like paganism and whatnot.
Okay.
and
It comes
so
from the
the-
same place, but it's not yellow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
Yep. They call it blood magic,
Oh,
and it's something that people still do to this day.
That's
It's a very active practice.
You're weird.
This
You're weird.
article is A+. I just want to tell you.
You're weird
That
if you do
I-
You do any blood magic with me, we're fighting.
Unless you're
There's
showing
gonna
a
be-
monster.
there-
Well, you
gonna be-
can't do it without somebody's consent. That's messed up. But I mean, if you want to do your own blood magic,
I'll be
at
doing my
home-
own blood magic if they try to do blood magic with me. Because I will cut your ear off.
Usually blood magic in role-playing games always on the evil side, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we burn them alive if they
Well,
do blood magic.
Burn their blood. So they're
Burn
on
them
fire.
alive. There's been a murder in Savannah.
So
Smash them with a rock.
this Paris guy, he was not happy with the witch cake made of piss. And he seen it as a blasphemous act.
The old PK.
Yeah. So pressured by parents to identify their tormentor, and they're a good metal band name, Betty and Abigail claim to have been bewitched by Tabitula and two other
Tituba.
whatever.
Tabitula.
That's cooler sounding. And two other marginalized members of the community, neither of whom attended church regularly. Sarah Good, an irascribed beggar, there's another 5-point word, and Sarah Osborne, also spelled Osborne, an elderly bedridden woman who was scorned for her romantic involvement with the indentured servant. She was bedridden. What the hell was she doing?
Doesn't matter. She's a witch.
So
my God.
they picked. So these two little girls were pressured into picking the black slave,
Yeah,
the beggar,
yeah.
and the old lady who
Doesn't leave her bed.
was having sex with her, also black slave.
And Tituba, the black slave from the Caribbean, confessed to it. And now there's a theory saying that like everybody told her, if you confess to it, you'll be like, we got you. Like if you confess to it, and then she confessed to it, and they.
Yeah, here it says
Yeah.
here. Initially, so it's
Tituba.
Tituba. I like Tabitula. It sounds
Go ahead,
better.
you can say it. I won't
Well,
shame
anyway,
you.
this
She's
bitch.
not going to come back. And
This
fight us.
bitch also
You don't
claimed
know.
to be blameless, but after being repeatedly badgered and undoubtedly fearful owning to her vulnerable status as a slave, she told the magistrates what they apparently wanted to hear, that she had been visited by the devil and made a deal with him. In 3 days of vivid testimony, she described encounters with Satan's animal familiars and with a tall, dark man from Boston. Oh, dark man, especially back then, my God. Who had called upon her to sign the Devil's Book, which can be seen in Sabrina on Netflix, in which she saw the names of Good and Osborne along with those of 7 others that she could not read. So how about he had the Devil's Book, they signed their souls away, but they got witch powers, so I'd sign the book too. And plus you get those orgies.
Yeah.
The magistrates that then had not only confession, but also what they accepted as evidence on the presence of more witches in the community, and hysteria mounted. Other girls and young women began experiencing fits, among them Ann Putman Jr., her mother, her cousin, Mary Walcott, and the Putman servant, Mercy Lewis. Again, A-plus name. Significantly, those that began identifying as other witches were no longer just outsiders and outcasts, but rather upstanding members of the community. Beginning with Rebecca Nurse, a mature woman of some prominence, as the week passed, many of the accused proved to be enemies of the Putnams, and the Putnams' family members and in-laws wound up being the accusers in dozens of cases. So I think the Putnams just went nuts, saying, you're witches, you're witches, you're witches, and you made my girls witches.
Tori's going to read something here. This is the actual timeline of how it of kind of how it all went down.
Yeah. In 1927, The Guide to the Grand Jury Men is published by the English Puritan Reverend Richard Bernard in England, which included guidance for prosecuting witches. The text was used by the judges in Salem. In 1628, the settlement of Salem is established with John Endicott and like 100 others. In 36, Salem banishes clergyman Roger Williams, who goes on to found the colony of Rhode Island. 38. Now, wasn't that?
Well, he wasn't greedy because he didn't take much land.
yeah. He'll take what he can get. In 38, a small group of people settled about 5 miles outside of Salem town, what is known as Salem Village. 41, England establishes a capital penalty for witchcraft.
I would love to see how that. We have to sit down and make a rule about this damn witchcraft.
Well, it was so weird because also in the witch house, it was their parlor room, like they had like everything set up like as historically accurate as possible, and like the tour guide there said that like that was where all of like the high society men would just come in and sit around and like determine the fates of all of these women and men.
So if they
And
had
it
it
was
out
like-
for somebody, they'd be like, let's just say they're a witch
Yeah,
and get rid of
it's
them."
literally like the good old boys. It's just like the high elites just saying like, well, it would, I cheated on my wife with Sarah Good, so maybe we can just offer and say she was a witch. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that.
It's going to make a real uncomfortable Valentine's Day.
If we just offer, say she's a witch, it's perfect timing. And
And if she doesn't float, we'll just be like, whoopsie.
whoopsie.
I guess she wasn't a witch.
Which is
What
like
can
so
you
weird.
do?
If you float,
Our
you're a
bad.
witch.
Yeah.
yeah. If you float, you're a witch. If you sink, you're not a witch.
Yeah.
You sink and you die. Sorry.
Yep.
How bad?
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Come here, Betty.
In 48, the first known execution for witchcraft in New England is Margaret Jones of Charlestown, in Massachusetts Bay Colony, an herbalist, midwife, and a self-described physician. So right there, it's herbalism. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's like, she's a midwife, and so she's probably helping like these pregnant women like with pain and like certain things in like all sorts of stuff. But nope, she's a
probably
witch.
she's probably using actual herbs that then became actual
Yeah,
medication.
yeah.
Actual
But
medicine.
it's like, what did they do with all the Indians that were around at the time, as they would call them? They would have scared to death of them, right?
They were coming.
Because they're worse.
Yeah.
Like I'd imagine
They're not white
witches.
and they do weird things that they're not
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah. And I'm sure how many of like these women like that were there. And I mean, because they weren't like, 'cause Native Americans weren't like the savages that they told them that they were,
No.
like whatever. So like, how much like you want to bet like some came over and just kind of like, oh, like here, have this. It's like Thanksgiving all over again, where it's just like,
They're like,
here's some food and all
Yeah.
of this,
"What
and then
is
they're just
that?"
kind of like,
Did your kids
Yeah.
kids eat those weird mushrooms over there? They're like, yeah, they're kids. They eat these. Like, well, if you grind up some tortoise and you put it in a bowl and you pee on it, it'll be great. And they're like, witch.
Well, they were probably like scared of corn because that's like, what is this?
It didn't even
What's that
digest.
tomato? Well, they did think tomatoes were red, so they were the devil. It's like, that's ridiculous.
This corn is strange. It
Yeah.
comes out the same way it went in.
What if they looked?
I know I chewed it. Everyone stay away from that stuff.
that one got me.
Burn him! He can't digest corn. I checked the stool. I don't put a passive. I
That
don't.
one got me. That one really
They don't
got
have
me.
nothing else to do.
I don't put a passive at this point.
No, they're literally it's anything.
Did she just put cloves in that and eat it?
Cloves?
Wait, get the rope.
Some guy was smoking cloves. They're like, oh my god.
If you think about it, the time has passed, but our concept as society on our higher positions haven't changed. They sat in a room and decided who is guilty or innocent, or what the bad decisions have led their power is passed it along, while forcing others to do the same, have the same conclusion and ensue panic to others by fault of hysteria. I believe it. LOL.
That was
Lisa,
Yeah.
speaking truth. I agree 100% with
Yeah.
you
History's downright repeating itself.
because we suck as humans.
Well,
See,
some people
I
suck.
love. See, Tim Mangle and I had this conversation. I'm team human. I love humans.
I have faith in humans, but not all of them.
I think human nature with like issues in the past repeat itself. I think when it comes down to it, I think man is good. I just think I think humanity needs to get out of that herd mentality where it's like they need to look for somebody to lead them.
They all need that shepherd.
Yeah,
They don't think everyone doesn't think they're a sheep, but if you don't believe what I believe, you're a sheep, but they don't realize that you're just a different sheep in a different pasture by a different shepherd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all of these issues. I feel like if everybody had like their own, if they were brought up to believe to have their own discernment and like they were able to have like their own justice system inside themselves, like shit like this probably would not happen. I mean, if they were like eating mushrooms and the stuff that.
Well, we kind of have a witch trial right now
Yeah.
going on, and I'm not even going to get into the political aspect. I'll just get into the cancel culture thing, right? So if you say something I don't agree with, or if you don't believe what I believe, whether the person is being hateful or vindictive or malicious or not, we are now banding together as a bully mentality to then try to socially ruin this person's life, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then like those people, what if they go to the point where they're being so socially pushed out that they go and harm themselves or others? And then it's like, well, then we knew it. We were right by being this bully mentality. Like, we're literally doing it in today's time, except we're not throwing people in the river by their feet with a rock on it. You know what I mean?
That we know of.
We're socially doing it because
Socially, yeah.
because I think right now the equivalent of that is by going on social media, which is seen by millions, and being like, this person is the most evil person ever. And some people really take that social media to heart. And it's like, you've now ruined my life. And then people think they have nothing to live for. Like, we're literally still doing that. Instead of being like, well, why don't you think
like
the
the
way I
YouTube
think?
community right
yeah, like,
now.
why don't you think the way I think? Let's have a conversation about it.
Or can we help you? It's like, no, let's just delete you forever.
Yeah, this person is bad and they're sexist and racist, and then like 6 months
It's
later
almost
they're
worse
just
than
like,
if
we
they-
forgot.
And then that's the thing too. Like, if you don't agree what we agree in, then they put the worst absolute titles on you
Oh my
that
God, yeah.
that don't even apply to the thing. You know what I mean? Like, and like the main trigger ones, like you're sexist, you're homophobic, you're racist, you're this, like, and they just throw those words so nilly, like no, that's exactly what you are, and it's like, oh, no, I'm really not. I just don't agree with this, like, or I have questions about this, or I don't understand this, or let's meet in the middle so we can have an understanding of what's going on. And it's like, no, cancel, we're done. And then everyone teams up and it goes out to that person.
It's like you can't get better.
And if you, then
You just have to
You
be
can't
sent
learn.
away
It's-
to an island.
Yeah.
And that's like
there's
that's
no
like
mistake.
this.
There's no recovery. There's no mistake. There's no letting that person redeem themselves. There's no having a conversation. And then if you're someone who has a heart, be like, hey, listen, guys, calm down for a second. Let this person have a spot to speak.
You're just as bad as that. other
You're
person.
now enabling him, and you're just as evil.
Yeah.
It's like that's happening today,
Yeah.
just on a different level.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's it's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So let me just read here. There's just a little bit of a conclusion, and then we can just have more discussions.
Your mom said you're smart.
She said, "What smart kids?" Thank you, thanks, Mom.
Okay, so though the respected minister Cotton Mather had warned of the dubious value of spectral evidence or testimony.
Spectral. Now, what was
History Channel, okay.
what was the spectral evidence?
Or it's a spectral evidence or testimony about dreams and visions. Now we can't have dreams. His concerns went largely unheeded during the Salem witch trials. Increase Mather, president of Harvard College and Cotton's father, later joined his son in urging. How about it? Go ahead. You want to read that?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Later joined his son in urging that the standards of the evidence for witchcraft must be equal to those for any other crime, concluding that it would better. This is a quote. It would better that 10 suspected witches may escape than one innocent person be condemned. Amid wanting public support,
Just like those terrorists.
Support of the trials, Governor Phillips dissolved the court of Oyer and Terminer in October and mandated that its successor disregard spectral evidence.
But yeah, I seen a ghost. Like, what is spectral? Like, unless they had ectoplasm,
Well,
we found this.
Or it was seen. What I'm guessing, if I'm not smart, I went to Monte City. But it's someone seen third party. You do something that was considered witchcraft.
But that like spectral.
Well, like they said
Spectral,
here,
I
like
guess I'm saying spectral would be something visual, right?
yeah,
So.
Yeah.
Well,
Although kids said they
what
had a
they
dream,
had
like-
mentioned in here is they had
Can't prove
with
that.
spectral evidence. Let me see. They had a spectral evidence in quotation marks or testimony about dreams and visions. So that could be somebody saying like, I had this dream and this like my dead grandmother came to me and talked to me right there, or like other things, or if like somebody's out in their garden and they're like speaking to their plants.
Spectral evidence is a form of evidence based on dreams and visions. It was admitted into court during the Salem witch trials and appointed by Chief Justice Williams. So if you had a dream that somebody was a witch, or if someone told you they had a dream that was considered witchcraft, that was enough to go to court to dictate someone's life or death.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Fucking crazy.
Oh, I had a dream that she was a witch. So kill her. Kill her.
Kill her. With John F. Kennedy now.
Yeah, John Kennedy.
Oh, I had a dream.
That's the two Boston accents. There's that, and there's like Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
Black Wildbug.
Did you want to read that comment?
That was
it's
actually the
pretty
other
much she was
comment.
agreeing, like
Yeah.
pretty much saying the same thing. Now, with the Salem witch, we're kind of let you jump in here. Where's your fascination with this, or the?
I've always been fascinated with it, and I've always wanted to go there. I just haven't gotten the chance to go yet. But I've always been into spooky things. Like I love Halloween. Like it's just always been, and it just intrigues me. Like all of it. Just but mostly the Salem witch trials, and so hopefully one of these days.
Yeah. What about the trials kind of catches your attention the most? Like, is there a story about it or something that kind of like draws you in to like you're fascinated by that part of the history?
Just all of it, like all the stuff that went on, and just going to see the history of it. I love history, so that that's always interesting to me.
Yeah. It's insane to me. Just like it's one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world, right? But most of the people who know about it or go there can still look at what's happening in today's times and still fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Like it's in plain sight.
Yep. In plain sight.
Yeah,
always.
and they still the truth behind the illusion.
Oh.
Man, somebody was thinking with that
Oh.
name. Hey, you smart.
So do you happen to believe in like past lives and whatnot? And all
Maybe
that
you
kind
were
of
Mercy
stuff?
Williams.
I was
Or
gonna
Mercy-
say because I
forget her name.
was drawn to Salem from a young age, and I always have dreams that I was a witch in Salem, and then going to Salem and walking down the steps, I was just kind of like,
had
throwing in that
deja
past
vu.
life. Yeah, throwing in like that weird past life. Both me and my cousin were walking down the steps, and we walked down, and like we both stopped like once we got to the bottom, and she looked at me and she's like, "Did you just feel something real weird right now?" And I was just kind of like, "Yeah, what'd you feel?" She's like, "I feel like I was just walking to my death," and I was like, "Yep, me too." It was so weird.
I think the only time I really had an experience like that where I felt I don't want to say that I felt like I was there before. I just felt like I think the history caught up with me when it came to like holy shit, I'm standing in a place where some really, really awful things happened was the Jim Thorpe prison. Like when you're in there and you see Irish not need apply and that like if you were Irish you were killed, like being Irish Italian, it's like whew, like
the double whammy. Not only are you Irish, but you're Irish Italian.
yeah.
So
The mudbloods.
you could cook,
We
but
the
you can't
mudbloods.
cook.
Oh,
Get it?
sorry. Sorry, I was listening to Andy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's just crazy that like we still think that we've come so far as people, but like 3 people ago. So if you think 3 people, like most people live to like 60, 70, 80, let's say 90 sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you take the average age, like 80 or 90, 3 people ago.
Maybe 4 or 5.
No, I'm saying
You mean like
for
the Jim Thorpe?
3
like the prison?
Oh,
three
okay.
three
I thought you were
people
talking about
three
this.
three
Yeah, this
I was
one's
like,
a little more.
oh.
three
A couple
pe-
more.
3 people ago we owned people.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we
okay,
owned
yeah,
slaves 3 people ago.
Yeah.
So 3, like literally, like there could be a 3rd or 4th generation that is alive today. Like I know there's no one who is a slave is alive today, but there are kids of someone who was that is alive today that still can like tell you what those days were like.
And we still need to honor that history. We need to honor that history, and we need to remember it. Like whether it comes to that, whether it comes to like the McGuire hangings, whether it comes to the Salem witch trials, we need to not become so desensitized to our past that we ignore it or that we shut it out.
Yeah.
Because once we start ignoring the past, once we start looking at the Salem witch trials as more of like a commodity and a fun thing, rather than remembering, no, this is what happens when there's too much power being used against human beings for no reason.
It gets to the point where when stuff gets to the point where it's so old, it kind of loses its sting.
So like,
as,
that's like the people that
That
don't
was
believe
so
the
long
Holocaust.
ago.
Like, that didn't happen.
like
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Like
to
there's
me.
still people to this day that's like, well, slavery didn't happen to you, get over it. But like it still takes time for that to get out of culture.
And
like
even so, I mean,
when the Salem witch trials ended, it didn't end. Like
No.
I'm sure there still was people there who were like, well, they told us not to believe, but I bet you Susie's a fucking witch.
Yeah.
I wish we can go back to those days so we can just kill them.
yeah.
Like you don't think that still hung out for a couple more generations of
Just
people?
because there's
Yeah.
a piece of paper in like the Capitol building that says, "Yeah, we can't do this
Treat
anymore."
these people good.
It doesn't. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. We can't do this anymore. Doesn't mean that the community is going to be like, well, all right.
2000,
They're all right by me.
2005, we legalized gay marriage. There's
Yeah.
still people to this day trying to fight to overturn that law.
Yeah. Which I'm like, why do you care?
Yeah.
It's not affecting you personally. Just
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
like,
Yeah.
it's a sin.
just let it go.
I love them
feel
people.
like-
So's getting a tattoo.
Like-
no, that's different.
Like,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
isn't a shot politically, or this isn't a shot saying like
But it's hard not. It's not. It's hard not
because
to be
this is very
political
politically
because
driven.
this is
yeah.
a very
Yeah.
politically
But like
driven.
how people see the hat "Make America Great Again," right? Now, I can both sides of the spectrum here. I'm going to try to play both sides. I'm going to play devil's advocate. The belief is let's make our country great. Like at one
Which,
point in time we
on
were.
paper,
Like when it comes
That's
to like
nothing wrong with that.
so when you talk about business and economy and
That's what-
and
that's-
everyone making money, we want to get back to that. But then people look at America's history
the social history.
and
yeah.
it's like
And I said, let's let women not vote. You know, like,
let's own
let's
slaves.
get back to that. Yeah.
Let's go back to the 60s.
Remember when you
and
could beat
civil
your
rights.
wife?
Yeah. Remember those days when you
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
beat your wife?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So
people
some
take
people-
it and spin it that way.
Yeah, so some people see that history and they're like, well, listen, what like then you're like, that's when it's like, well, you're racist if you wear like, it's a weird catch-22.
It's like, yeah, some people are, but not everyone.
But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is like stuff happens in the past and it's so long ago that it just becomes lore and not history.
Yeah.
And then people are like, and then we get to an age where it's like, well, that didn't happen to you, so why does it affect you still? It's like, oh, because
It's
because
important.
people are teetering on the point where this could be something again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It absolutely is. But I do think that as the generations go on, and I've even seen this in like the older generations where they're looking at what's going on. I mean, the older generations that I've spoken to, like have looked at the situation going on, and they're starting. Some of them are starting to realize like this isn't good. So I mean, I think there is a positive light to everything where it has to get, and it's like this all the time. It's duality where it has to get so super bad so people come together and make it good.
Like a rainforest. The rainforest is designed sometime to burn itself down, so it can grow back stronger.
Yep.
And I think we're at that point. Like, it sucks to say, but something really, really, really bad has to happen for people to step back and be like, we fucked up.
And honestly, I mean,
it's sad to say that how many people have died just in 2020 alone, like over a disease that people think it's not real. Yeah. Like people are dying and people are being murdered and there's people fighting and killing each other on the streets, and it's still
look at Australia right now.
And we still haven't hit the point where people are like, it's not bad yet.
Yeah.
Like something insane has to happen for for people like fuck. Like this, like that's why I said I hope the alien ship comes. I just need a giant alien ship to fly over, and then people are like, oh, our shit doesn't mean nothing because that's fucking.
Or would they just ignore it, like when NASA said UFOs are real earlier in the year, and people are like, but the corona.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I have faith in humanity. The Batman in me thinks that people are going to make the right choice, and I do think like. For how many people I encounter and how many people I meet and all many different walks of life and races and sexual orientations and political views, I think for the most part, everybody wants the same thing. I just think if people take a break from the mainstream media, what they're being told, they're going to be in a lot better place and see people for people.
There is all the radicals out there who they get the attention.
Yeah, that's all you see on the news.
Because you never, it's you always see what's more exciting.
So like we have 4
if someone
people.
Says, I want everyone to be good.
We have 4 people viewing. But if we were here and we had a one extremist side, right or left, we would have 400 people watching because people are dragged into negativity. They don't want to see people have actual conversation.
I think that is changing, though.
I hope so.
Think especially in like with the consciousness of our generations coming, and also like of all like the hate and like the anger that's going on, I really truly do think that the majority is really coming from us, like the heart center. They're coming from a loving space. Yeah,
it's literally like we're living the Civil War comic where the superheroes got together and fought each other and someone died, and then then they got angry over the death and fought each other harder, and then realized later it's like, oh, we're not making the right choice here. You know what I mean? Like even in extreme tragedy, it might even turn itself on its head even more. I don't know. It's strange.
Fucking strange.
I got a good quote here I found. So when they obviously it's talking about when they killed all the different women and stuff. That said Sarah Good, when she died, she said she was no more a witch than the judge was a wizard.
I love that.
That was a good line.
That's a gangster-ass thing to say while you're about to be burned.
Hell yeah, Sarah Good.
And there was another guy who recited the Lord's Prayer perfectly, something which no witch was thought to be capable of doing, raising doubts about his guilt for some in attendance. Though the protesters were refuted, most notably by Mather, who was present. It's like, I don't think he's a witch. It's kind of too late now.
Yeah. Oops.
Hang him. So like, it's crazy that that sometimes like even to the last breath they're like, I'm not, and like, yeah, you son of a bitch, yeah.
I do think like with Salem, the interesting thing is it's just with this terrible past. Do I think that there were people out there doing like sorcery? Of course. Every civilization, every native of civilization starts with that paganistic aspect. So I definitely think when coming into a new land and you're coming here with native peoples and you have slaves coming over from African countries or the Caribbean or whatnot with their views, and you come over with like the Christian side of it, it's going to become a melting pot. So I absolutely do think that there was mysticism happening there. And now that like it's been going on, and Salem is kind of like the witch hub of America now, where there is something cool about it, where it's like it's all set up to be like, you know, ghosts and witches and like herbalism and whatnot, and it's almost like it's come full circle as more of a fuck you to everything now, to all the trials now, where it's like we're all killed for that. Screw you. This entire town, we're going to witch. We're embracing it.
We're embracing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when people see gay pride parades, and they're like, why do they got to be so
There ain't no
Throw
straight
it-
pride.
right?
It's like,
like
Why do they got to throw it in our face like that?
and that they're doing it for that exact fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like because we can legally
We
fucking
can do
be
this.
ourselves now.
Because we're allowed
I'm
to
gonna
do this,
come
and you
with
can't
my
tell me.
pasties. I'm gonna come with tiny little underwear. I'm gonna get on my thing with my rainbow flags, and
I'm gonna put
say,
makeup all over me.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Whether you
I'm
think I
gonna
should or
go and
not.
drag. I'm gonna go the way I want to be as a person
Mhm.
because you can't fucking arrest me for it now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
yeah.
a celebration, whether people like it or not. It is
Yeah.
a celebration.
And they like, and if it makes you uncomfortable, that's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
And if you are someone who, even if you're not gay and you're an ally, you're there and you're supporting with them because you understand, that's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah,
Wow.
That's the cool thing about Salem, how they embrace that culture to be like.
it says that some of the people, it was not until 2001 till the last 11 were convicted were fully exonerated. So like in 2001 they said,
2001.
yeah, 2001, they're not witches. Like no shit.
Yeah, how about it? It's like one of those like ancient laws that kind of got lost in the shuffle,
Yeah.
like with everything else. And they're like, oh, we should probably fix this.
It did bring about some good. So the abuses of the Salem witch trials would contribute to a change to the U.S. court procedures, playing a role in the advent of the guarantee of the right to legal representation.
Oh,
So
there you go.
someone could, you're a witch. Well, I guess I am. So you got a lawyer, the right to cross-examine one's accuser, and the presumption of innocence rather than guilt. So back then you were guilty and you had to prove you're innocent.
Yeah, and you had no way of defending
Yeah.
yourself.
So that's pretty cool that actually changed the way the courts ran. So
Yeah.
I mean, some good did come of these, poor women dying and men.
It says none of the alleged witches were burned at the stake.
Interesting.
Wow. I thought they did do that, but I'm sure they probably did. There's probably like the outliers, the
They said
radicals.
they
There
said
might have
almost
been.
all were hung
Hang.
from
Hung.
a tree. So if somebody was burned from a stake, that may have been the people taking it into their own hands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you never
that
know.
might have been like
Yeah.
after, because like, I mean, the courthouse owns the gallows.
But they said like that were legally executed, like by trial and by judge. They were not burned at the stakes; they were hung.
Mhm. But like that's what you're saying, like the rebels that took it on, because it's like once it got through the system where it's just like, yeah, let's not do this anymore. It's just like you can't have access to the gallows then, so what else are you gonna do?
The final execution was September 22nd, 1692, where 8 were hung: Mary Estuary, Martha Corey, Anne Predidor, Samuel Hardwell, and Mary Parker, Alice Parker, and Wilmot Red, and Margaretta Scott. In addition, 71-year-old Giles Corey died after being pressed with heavy stones. They took a 71-year-old
Old
man
man.
and crushed
Especially
him with
back
stones.
in that date, that's a 100-year-old man today.
Yeah. I mean, that was old.
It's
from back
amazing
then.
he made it that long.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm 71.
Probably that's why let's
That's
kill him.
why-
Look how old he is.
He's too old. He
None
must
of us make it past 35.
They're like, wait, Corey just celebrated 71?
Yeah, 70 what?
He's
that-
a warlock.
I can't count that high.
That cocksucker's immortal. Get the stones.
Now, maybe if he looked like he's 23, then I'd be like, well,
Like
Oh.
a part of me wishes like they were actual witches. Like they just like Corey gets the rocks put on him and they're like, all right,
It
we got him.
disappears. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just like, Braun! He comes out like Braun Strowman. Be great. And everyone's like, holy shit, Godzilla. And he just tears up the whole town. I hope if there is.
I like that alternate
Yeah,
ending.
I hope if there is an they should, you know how they made like Cowboys versus Indians or like Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Killer. Like we should make an
I
alternate.
think that movie's fantastic.
We should make an
Oh, yeah.
alternate Salem movie where like the one girl goes to get burned and
There
she's
is
laughing
one.
and she's like, "Fire doesn't hurt me," and she
There
just
is
carries
one.
the whole town.
There's
Be great.
a TV show, I think, a TV show
Really?
that just came out, where it's about like Salem. I'm pretty sure it's Salem, but it's
That one just
as if-
called Salem?
I think so, but it's like basically now it's like if Salem went the complete opposite way, where the witches then took over and like their entire
Oh.
government system is around like witchcraft and like it's all very like the military garb is all like for like it's all run by women and they're all very powerful and they all like do like cool stuff. So
That's
like that's a
cool.
really cool take
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah,
I read a lot of witch comic book series. So well, some of them are like done, but there was one called Rachel Rising, where like she's a modern day girl and she dies when she comes back, blah blah blah. She finds out she was a witch back then. It's loosely tied to this, but it's pretty cool how they like.
and you're obsessed with Sabrina.
Yeah, I love that, Sabrina. The comic book
teenage
series,
witch.
the serious comic book series was really good. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, I was gonna wear a Sabrina shirt, but I found this one.
So let's
Scarlet
on a
Witch.
positive note. If there's the skeptic's gonna say like so if there is an afterlife or people can if there's no reincarnation, you don't come back and you're not aware. So let's say that you are dead, but you're still aware of what's going on in modern day, because it helps people cope, I guess. Like Nana's still watching. I have a hard time believing my Nana's still here, but people who are told me that they're my guardians. So who knows? They have not showed themselves yet. So and if you do, I probably will be in 5P. Yeah. So I would feel like if there is spirits who were the ones that were killed or executed, and they can see in today's times where you're socially allowed to do stuff like that and practice this medicine, and probably some of maybe the herbalism that they've practiced then became actual medicine, or the town of Salem has now embraced it to the point where it's a tourist attraction, and people not like
Go there to
honor,
celebrate it.
they honor and celebrate and remember that they didn't die in vain, that people fought for this.
And
to
there
not
are
be a
people
thing.
that go there. There are people that work there that they provide like offerings. Like they go and like it's the town itself feels
Like
like
a
it's
goat.
yeah.
No, like a virgin.
Like,
4 o'clock.
like
4
they'll
o'clock.
put-
We're gonna cut the goat's throat over here.
Like I know, like there's a lot of people, like there's a lot of tourists there that will go to like in the graveyard, where like you can actually see like Sarah Good's like plotter and everything. Every people come, and it's a really interesting feeling in Salem where it's like now this is the all believer in me, where it's you go there
Everything.
and absolutely everything.
Everything.
But it's the idea that it's the whole town is alive, even though like I mean obviously people are walking through it in businesses and it's a thriving tourist attraction, but just walking down the cobblestones of like that main or like the brick road that's like that main brick road of everything, and then just going and just like seeing all of the entire community is embrace the fact that like the ancestors of Salem are still there.
How much of that town still looks like old Salem? Like how much of it has been?
The witch house is still there. I know the brick road is still there on Essex Street. Essex Street, yeah.
Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I mean, obviously, like the shops are modern. I mean, like people are
It's like,
taking over.
You
and
have to
everything.
modernize them, like Gettysburg. Like there's old stuff, but then you have to modernize. You have to put
Yeah.
electricity. and
See,
stuff
in my brain, right? When I think of like go see old Salem, like in my brain, I still like look at the photos. I'm like, oh, I hope it's like a town that time forgot. You know, one of those type of towns.
Like a ghost town.
Yeah.
No, not like a ghost town,
I mean,
but like
there's
where it still
some
looks
stuff
like
that's
it's
old fashioned.
yeah, where it's like the cobblestone road and like the street lamps, like
Yeah,
you know
the
what I mean?
Essex Street, where a lot of like the main attractions are and like the shops and everything, that still has like the brick.
Like if I went to downtown fucking Salem and there's like a Taco Bell there, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
there's a CVS in there.
yeah,
Is there?
there's a
Yeah.
Starbucks in Gettysburg. So I mean,
yeah,
what can you do? You know?
I mean,
it's not in the
capitalism
battlefield.
is capitalism. It's
Yeah.
gonna find its way in.
it's like if I was a ghost, I'd be like, I'm haunting the fuck out of that Starbucks. Like
Well,
I
who-
died.
Who
on
knows
a
what it was
battlefield.
before? Maybe it was an old doctor's office.
I
you
died in
know?
a battlefield here for them to build a fucking Starbucks.
But I mean, all of like the graveyards are still there. Like that, the witch house is still there. Like everything is pristine, like kept as
Preserved as
preserved as
good, yeah.
possible.
how do we feel about graveyards?
I love graveyards. I feel sad in graveyards, but I love them, and I go and I like to bring.
Do you think they're
things.
practical today? Still today?
I say no, especially when they were built like in its city. Like it kind of seems like why didn't they build them out of the city? But I guess for travel purposes.
I don't know.
How do you feel? I'm not judging
They
if,
creep me out. to be honest with you.
but like what I'm saying is like how like at some point, right? If more people die than they are alive. So like at what point do we say like can we stop doing graveyards? Like we're gonna like there's gonna be
We're gonna
literally
run out of.
there's
Yeah,
gonna be no
it's gonna be
space.
Right.
Grave planet.
I want to be buried in one of those tree pods and come back
I
as
was
a tree.
just gonna
Yeah.
say that.
Like I honestly don't care what you do with my body.
I
after
don't
die.
either. I told people that.
It's
but
like
I'm
Frank
dead.
Reynolds.
What
Frank
do I give a
Reynolds.
shit?
Just throw me in
Yeah.
the trash.
Yeah.
Trash bag.
Literally, like that's why I'd like cremate me and then whatever. Like, don't keep me in your closet.
Yeah.
Like, just
Spread the ashes
The
somewhere. Right?
closet.
I do love the idea of being turned into a tree.
Yeah, that's see, and you're giving back.
Yeah.
what if like you grow like
Just like
Person tree.
and then it's like Lord of the Rings. Hey,
it's tree beard.
It's
Tree and-
me.
Tree?
Yeah.
I am no tree.
Yeah.
Terry Hag said, "Hey, girly." Wendy said, "What up,
Ashes
cuz?"
to ashes. Dust to dust.
Yeah, ashes, to ashes. Thank you guys for hanging out, sir. I hope we were entertaining.
Yeah.
I figure if I'm gonna be put in the ground, like, just I mean,
Yeah, might as well be
do
trained.
you
wanna
wanna-
get
at
back
least-
to something.
Yes, you're gonna put me in the ground anyways.
I want one last day as Weekend at Bernie's. Like, just take my
You
corpse-
got it, buddy.
Oh my God.
take my
We're gonna
corpse,
take.
take my corpse like a destruction derby.
Just hit him up.
It flies out the window.
Did you see that someone like at one of the baseball stadiums they're putting cardboard cutouts?
Yeah.
up?
Oh, the South Park?
And no, somebody put a cardboard cutout of Bernie in one of the seats.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Bernie Lomax.
Yeah, and then
Another good name.
the Denver Broncos filled their entire stadium
Yes,
with South Park
South Park.
characters.
That's funny.
Until some big shot actually watches the South Park. Like, ah, that's wrong.
They'll be all for it until they see Satan and Big Al.
Until they see
Big
one
Al.
episode, and they're like, "Oh, I thought that was for kids. We thought it was like Charlie Brown."
It would be cool to have a dirty kid sit in your stadium with a dust cloud around.
Yeah.
Team Dirty Kids. I like.
Pigpen.
I love
Pigpen.
Pigpen. I can never find anything Pigpen. That would be like another logo if you ever get bored. Like
Pigpen?
Turn me into Pigpen. Like make me a
We'll
Peanuts
turn
character.
We'll turn us into Peanuts characters.
Oh my
That would be so
God.
funny.
That'd be awesome. Who would he be? Who would
I don't
Andy
know.
be?
I don't know. Snoopy.
Just trying to think of like a Peanuts character.
With
that-
Prob-
Probably
not-
like the male version of Peppermint Patty, because Peppermint Patty was always just like, "Yo, beat
Yeah.
everybody up."
She was a lesbian. She was totally a lesbian.
Her and who was her? Friend?
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah, with the glasses.
Oh yeah.
No, it was her sidekick. Lucy was
Oh, yes,
Lucy-
sir. That one.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh,
The blonde.
that is Lucy.
with the black hair.
Oh
and
wait,
she had
it's
the little
Lucy Charlie Brown's
glasses.
sister.
No,
I'll find
Lucy was the girl that was
Oh,
always
the-
picking on
Yeah,
him.
the therapy girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was the girl with the glasses name?
It was Peppermint Patty's sidekick.
I could have sworn it was Lucy. I just had a brain
And she would
fart.
always say blah 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 blah, and she was yes sir.
Oh, I know. who you're
Okay,
talking-
boss.
There, yeah, Lucy was the black-haired one. She's like the Veronica. She's the famous one. Her name, Peppermint Patty. Oh, let me see. Sally Brown.
Sally Brown was Charlie Brown's sister.
Jeez, her name was Marcy.
Marcy.
I would say You're not a Linus though.
Shermie. Who is Shermie?
There is.
This
I-
is taking a turn.
I love when they dance. Marcy. Everyone's saying Marcy in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, Marcy. Our viewers came in clutch there.
Thank you guys.
Sorry, we took a weird turn. We just went to Peanuts.
I know.
Anything else when it comes to like witch lore that you wanna like that you're into or
I do have a
Like
weird
Charmed?
story, not witch related, but
do you have a spooky paranormal
I
experience?
do. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Scared the crap out of me. To this day, I think about it. Still gives me the.
Tell it.
We always forget that part. Like, do you have a spooky story to tell?
Years ago, I was dating this guy. You ever hear the bus company JoJo's Travelers? Like way back in the day, they were out of Old Forge, Taylor area. Anyways, he
Yeah.
worked for there.
Like Bieber buses.
Yes,
Or
like
Oh,
they went
okay.
to Atlantic City, the
the
casino.
R&J.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep, gotcha.
So he worked there. He cleaned the buses.
Hey,
The
they
bus-
got paid
Someone's
pretty
gotta do
good.
it. Yeah.
My
someone's
friend
Yeah,
worked at
you got-
Bieber, and they
yeah,
got paid
yeah.
pretty good.
But he was telling me that he was in there one night fiddling with the radio, and he got this channel or whatever, and it was just like demonic screaming, and I'm like, oh, that's so messed up. And so we're there one night. I had the radio up, and he's like, well, let me see if I can find that again. I'm like, yeah, sure. He had the radio on. He found this channel. I ran off that bus crying.
Oh my god.
That's how bad it scared me. I've never heard anything like
It's
that
like a
before in my
radio
life.
station of just screaming.
Yes, like demonic screaming. I ran
With
off.
no guitars or
No,
drums.
no,
or
it
anything?
was just like it went through my body, and I ran
my
off the bus, and
God.
I was crying. I flew out of that
Wow.
garage, and I was standing outside. I'm like, that was absolutely
Have
terrible.
you ever
That's
have you ever
jarring.
experienced like a ghost or paranormal or anything like that
Or a cryptid.
or a cryptid?
I want to see one so bad.
I don't know if it was. My little brother-in-law plays soccer, and he plays out. It's a small town called Hunlock Creek,
Mhm.
and I was going out there with my in-laws one time, and I think I was still pregnant, maybe. I don't. It was a couple of years ago, and it was right around Halloween time, and we were coming up, and there was this house, and I swore I saw a guy standing out there with like a windbreaker on, and some pants, and I'm like, I swore I just saw a guy standing there. Like, well, they're like, yeah, well, a guy died there. He got electrocuted, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
for
boy.
Pete's sakes! God
So you think
damn
you
it!
maybe see?
I probably saw the guy.
Are you, where do you lie on the
It was
belief
Shocker
spec?
from the
Like,
movie.
are you a believer? Are you open-minded skeptic? Are you like I need to see it to believe it? Like I want to believe, but I haven't experienced. Like where do you lie?
Open-minded.
Open-minded.
I haven't seen so far. Aside from those two things, I haven't really. God, I pray I don't see a ghost. I don't know if I can handle that.
Have your children
I'd
ever
love to.
said anything creepy or like I know they said like kids like my little brother when he was a kid was fucking creepy. He had like an imaginary friend that was too much detail to say.
Oh yeah, I've
to
heard
say-
about that stuff.
Like he had a lady named Mrs. Mikowski or Mrs. McKenna or something, and he was like, "Yeah, that's my big sister." and she ate a cookie, she choked on it, it got stuck in her boob, and she died. And then he would like describe
Probably like in here.
Yeah.
Right.
Like because she was
but like
see-through.
how the fuck does he know what a cookie like what choking and dying, like he was too young to
Right,
even
yeah.
know that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he would describe like what she looked like, and he had a whole backstory for her. And I was like, this is too weird. Like,
Right, yeah,
like
the
I understand, like
detail.
he's my brother and he has an
Active
act-
imagination.
yeah, thank you. But it was too much.
Right.
I was like, you're fucking creepy.
No, my daughter. No, she's 4.5. So no, not yet. And my son, he's 2.5. So, but no, my daughter hasn't. I pray she doesn't.
You're gonna go
I-
home and like you're
Like,
gonna be
time
like,
to move. Time to move, everybody.
I said, since
Knock
you went
it
off
up,
circle
up.
track, can you hook a girl up with in the Berks County area with some Hershey's chocolate beer? You mean this Hershey's chocolate beer?
Mary McHale.
That's my name. That was
okay.
That was our
I
first
was
and
gonna say-
only donation to the podcast.
Oh,
so,
thanks, Mary.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them. Are you? Let me know. Shoot me a message if you're coming down the area to see my mama or pick my mama up or come down.
We'll send one on our Raven.
I'll send you. I'll
the
save you. I'll save you a couple because I actually am buying another case on Wednesday. The place in one of the other beer places we go is getting it. I told them to hold me one.
I know the one place got a pallet and sold out in one day.
I wonder
Yeah.
if the
Yeah, that's so
distributor by
surprising.
me has it.
It's only in School County right now.
wow.
You wouldn't think they would just make that like
It's
all
going.
the time.
It's going to go everywhere. But
Yeah.
It was the same thing when it came out on draft. It was only available in School
yeah,
County.
and of course the demand. Everyone wants to get it.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people that are going to get it, and not like.
But yeah,
it, so.
I got you. I got you, Mary. I'll save you some. I'm getting more of it.
Show
and,
off,
and
he
I'll,
says.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, witches are part of lore now. They're in TV shows and
Yeah,
video
Bewitched.
games.
You know, that was back in
I
the
love
50s.
Sabrina too.
Well, there's a
the newer ones I've seen, but I like the older show.
with Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
I
they
like
have
it
the
too.
Sabrina or the Bewitched statue in Salem too.
Oh,
that's
really?
cool.
Of,
Samantha.
Yep.
Then Uncle Arthur. No, boy.
I'm trying
boy.
to think who was the one I was into. Like I remember being a kid, be like they're like the pretty girl. Like I don't know if it was Bewitched or I Jean of Genie.
I like Jeannie. I
Oh,
thought Jeannie was
Jeannie.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Way more.
Who's the one that wiggled her nose?
Jeannie.
That was
was-
uh.
Oh, that
Bewitched.
was
Samantha.
Samantha. Yeah,
Samantha.
sorry.
Oh, then I was.
Jeannie
Sean
did
Connery.
No, I was into the witch then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember
The little nose
the,
wiggle.
The nose wiggle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was too cute. That was really
Yeah.
too cute.
I like how they both had bad versions and they had dark hair.
Yeah,
That was
like
the bad versions of both. I
Just
forget.
put a wig on.
I forget their names.
Will Ferrell was in that. They did that. He
I
did
never
that
seen that.
Bewitched
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
With,
It was cute.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Of course,
cute.
Charmed. I never really got into that though.
Yeah, I wasn't a charm girl
He
either.
said, "I dream of Jeannie." I mean, she was. You know what though?
Jeannie
You know
was
who I thought
smoking
was.
hot.
She
You
was
know who
so
I thought was
cute.
awesome back in the day? Like I thought for
Major
like
Nelson.
no fucking Lucy. I was obsessed with
Oh,
Lucy.
see, I never thought Lucy was attractive.
I did. I thought she was good looking.
Oh, I
She's
thought
just
she
too
was
much.
Beautiful.
Too much for me.
And I
You
never
didn't like the.
and I never really seen like a female comedy presence until like Lucy was it for the longest time, and then I think the next time I seen like a girl that was deemed to be funny, like I'm not saying girls aren't funny,
He's canceled.
but I think the next
muted.
TV show I watched where I was like like a female comedy role was prevalent was like
Carol Burnett.
No,
She was big
for
back
me
then.
it was
Joan, what's her name?
Married with Children.
Can we talk?
Oh,
Joan Rivers.
Yeah, she came out.
Yeah, but for me, I went from Lucy because I watched it on Nick at Night, and
To what?
then
Peg Bundy?
to Peg Bundy, yeah,
Peg
because
Bundy.
I love
Ow.
Peg and then the neighbor Marcy and then
No.
Kelly. Yeah, they were
I'll
funny.
never want to bang her, but I'm like, I bang her.
Yeah.
Look at her.
No, he
I
was,
guess he was
was
tired of her.
beautiful.
Yeah.
no, he played into it that he wasn't his wife. But if somebody else stepped out of line, Al would beat up for his wife. He would say, "It's showtime or it's go time." Yeah, I love. What a good show! What a good show. So anyone in the chat? So next week we have a call-in guest.
Yes.
I have to reach out and make sure that's still a thing.
Okay.
But we're gonna have the. I just literally had a brain fart.
Jason Offit from
Thank
the
you.
book American Monsters.
So we're gonna have him call in, and we're gonna find out what his favorite cryptid so far he covered.
Cool.
That's so exciting.
That would be cool. And then so next week we're gonna do a cryptid
I guess
episode.
we'll just talk about monsters next week.
Yeah, we're talking
Love
about his
it.
book, how he
Let's
made
each
it.
find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to get like a real. Cause some are like. You
Well, I
talk
was
about 5
thinking
minutes.
instead of finding one from the book, I would let him pick some of his favorites from the book, and then how he came
But like,
about
let's
the
say
book.
let's say he only talks for 20 minutes or so.
We'll
like-
I have a backup plan. We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna have like a Skype call. We'll superimpose him on the screen like we do a Brian or Tornado Tag, or just hear his audio only. We'll
Maybe
still
we
figure
put a picture of the book up. Or something,
Yeah, we'll figure something out. So we have the author of the book, Roseanne. I didn't like Roseanne.
Oh, see, I loved Roseanne.
Oh, she
Wait, you
drove
didn't
me-
like Roseanne's comedy or her physically? Because that's a big difference.
I mean,
I didn't like
I
the
just
show
thought
at
she
all.
was hilarious.
I didn't like the show at all.
I used to
I thought
watch
she
it, but I
was
wasn't really
hilarious
into it.
because like it was like so brash and like white trash and like
It was,
sorry
yeah.
mom, but like that's what my family was.
Maybe that's why I didn't like her, because it reminded me of people in my family. And I was like, that lady would beat me with a spoon. Like, I don't want.
My grandmother did beat me with this.
Oh man.
Yeah, like Roseanne wasn't cute to me. Like, no, like that would be the lady that would beat me. I'm not.
The second blonde daughter was so hot. The one that was on Scrubs then.
Oh,
I
the
forget
second
her
Sarah-
name.
Sarah
Yeah,
Chalk.
second Becky. Yeah,
Sarah
yeah.
the
Chalk.
second Becky. Do you
But
remember that episode when then like both Beckys came
yeah,
back and they
yeah.
were just like, "Who are you?"
And the first one, the new one, they go, Becky, you look different. At least like, they acknowledged it.
But if you guys have a topic you want us to cover, comment it here or send us a message and say, hey, you guys should cover this topic. Once again, we are always down to having guests on the show.
Yeah.
So if you want to come and join us, if you have a location that is haunted, like
Let us come to your haunted house.
like
Or if
your,
there's a-
like your house or your business or anything
Some
like
type
that.
of cryptid animal nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you see
We'll go
UFOs or
squatching.
something.
Oh
yeah.
my God, please! I want to go to UFO sites,
Yeah.
please.
Like,
So-
if you've experienced any of that.
Yeah, or if you know someone who may be a medium or a psychic or something, and you tell them about our show, we're open to that.
Yeah.
Pretty much like as an audience, man, we're going to do the show regardless, but we want to incorporate you guys because it does come down to interaction with our fans as well as you guys sharing it in word of mouth. So we'll keep making content if you keep
And we
hanging
really
out with us.
appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
And any local stories. Anything remotely local.
There's this Smurl house in Pittston. Have you ever? I said that last time, but it was supposed to be like super haunted. Like
Smurl?
Smurl house in Pittston. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing
Look it up.
the only thing we'll say is when it comes to like I know I follow a bunch like for references, but like we're not trespassing. Like we're not gonna go to
Yeah.
places that are
Yeah.
like we don't want to be those people. So like if it's like, hey, we know this spot, you have to walk through the woods for 6 miles. Like you have to realize we have to bring equipment and stuff. Like we are buying ghost hunting stuff. Like I said earlier, so when we go to like the prison in Gettysburg and Eastern State, I don't know if they're gonna let us film and stuff, but so when we go to Gettysburg, I don't know if we're gonna be able to film. Like, so I'll bring a GoPro and have
Like you can. There's no like. Well, maybe when you're on the actual like ghost tour, like when you're in the building, maybe not. But like when you're walking around.
Yeah, so we'll bring it, and if we're allowed, we will. If we're not, we'll just kind of put it in our backpack. But if we can't get footage, we're still going to do an audio podcast later and tell you of our experience of what we experienced when we were there.
I'm probably going to do a vlog of the time that we're there too,
Yeah.
and we can put it up on the page too, just to have
so-
behind the scenes stuff.
So we'll like go
Oh,
live
wow,
on
I didn't know
go
that.
live on Facebook. Like, hey, we're
cool.
here live. We're doing our tour. Like, we'll do stuff like that. But we're definitely not like I'm definitely not a content creator to the fact where like I'm going to take a bunch of videos and put them because I don't really know how to do any of that.
Oh,
yet.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Paragraph.
But
Oh, wow.
we'll figure stuff out. This is going to be new for us, so bear with us. But at the end of the day, we still are a podcast, so
Yep.
we're gonna experience it and then come and talk about what we
Discuss it.
experience. So it's
Yep.
not going to be so much watching a video of us walking around a building that's scary. It's like we're going to go experience it and not be tied down to our equipment, and then come back and tell you about our experience. Because I don't want to blur the lines of being a podcast and a ghost hunting
And it
channel.
goes hunting, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
a ghost hunting crew.
like there's tons of people who do that and walk around with their camera, and I feel like they're not having the experience because they're so caught up on getting
getting it caught on camera.
yeah. And I'm not so much trying to get it on camera. I'm just trying to have an experience and then tell the experience to you guys.
Yeah.
Now, if we can go somewhere and the backdrop of that location for the podcast is the location, that's cool to me.
Yeah.
Like to be the fact that like we're doing a podcast in the prison is cool.
Right in
You know what I
front of
mean?
The gallows.
Yeah. Like when I did the Majestic, like that was cool to me.
Yeah, that
like it was
was
super
beautiful.
cool. Like so that's pretty much what we're trying to do. Like so I definitely don't want to get people's hopes up like we're gonna make a whole. I mean it may happen, but for the most part we're here to do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, if you guys have any locations, any stories, if you want to be a guest, if you have something you want us to check
Or
out,
just send the page a message if you don't want to be guest, but you want to tell a story.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Tell it.
yeah,
If you're camera shy, that's fine.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
send us a
And some people
message.
might want to be anonymous.
yeah. Also, the group page on Facebook. So if right now, if you're watching this, I don't know if you're watching on the group page or if you're watching from the like page because we shared on both. There is a tab where you can on either page. Facebook limits to how many you could do a day, but like I said, the word of mouth is important. So if you either go to the like page or the group page, depending on what you want, and just invite some friends. You can do the invite all feature on the like page, but the group page, you kind of have to individually go through people. It takes time, but we would truly appreciate it.
Yes.
If you do invite your friends list page, send us a screenshot showing that you did it, or like just, I mean, Scout's honor, if you just tell me like, hey, I invited a bunch of people to your page, I will send you a code that will give you 10% off merchandise or free shipping. I'll send you both.
There we go.
Yeah, and if you become a top badge or a top member, I forget what they are on the group pages or that, I will also send you a code as well. Just if I don't do it right away, as I miss the fact that you may be a top badge, send me a message like, hey, I just hit badge status on your page, and I'll hook you up. You've received your code. And if you do get merchandise, please send us a picture of your merchandise, whether it be a sticker, a hoodie, a hat, anything, because we are still working on the intro thing. We're probably going to do it the beginning of next year, so we'll give you guys time from now to the end of the year to get your merchandise, because I ordered stuff and it's still printing. It takes a while because
it took my hoodie a while
because of COVID.
Yeah, they're trying to catch up with everything.
Yeah, I ordered the devil hoodie, so I'm excited to get that in. Yeah,
your aunt asked about doing a show at Shocktoberfest. I don't know. She said people do, but I don't know if they'd let us because you got to pay $40 for each attraction.
No,
and that's just
my uncle
she
builds Shocktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
Her husband builds Shocktoberfest every
I mean, that'd
year.
be cool backdrop. Obviously, there's nothing scary. I mean,
listen, we would 100%.
There's no true stories of like death there.
Yeah.
I would assume.
But listen, if it's like, hey, go to Shocktoberfest, like 100% we'll go.
Yeah,
and if you, like I
that's
said,
true.
if you
People
get
wanna see it.
if you get those tickets, let us know. We'll pay you for the tickets.
I heard there's 3 attractions and they're $30 a pop.
Yeah.
So that's 90 if you want to do all 3. I've never been.
I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, they have passes too, where it's like,
Yeah.
I think,
I'm gonna be honest. It's so fucking good.
I love Shocktoberfest.
What was the one that's Jason's Woods? That's
Jason's
like the rival.
Woods. Yeah, I wasn't a big
That's
fan.
by Lancaster, right?
All right,
Yeah.
so we've done a few of them because Heidi's obsessed with them. Shocktoberfest is a great time. Just like for me, when I walk through those places, I look at like the aesthetics, like how the hell do they do that?
Yeah.
Shocktoberfest is very high up there. Shocktoberfest is really good. Jason's Woods is really good because that one's like a hayride, but there is some walking elements, but they like try to recreate horror movies, so there's some cool stuff there. The
Elysburg, I want to go to
Elysburg is super, super cheap, but it's really good.
I
And
think
it's ran by
$5.
it's ran by
Damn.
like a fire company, so it
Yeah.
all goes to that. Then there's what was the other one that's really fucking cool?
Reaper's Revenge.
Reaper's Revenge is
Oh.
cool.
Where's that at?
It's up in Scott Township. My sister.
There's,
actually
what's the
lived
one in Lancaster?
That's Jason Woods is in Lancaster.
No, there's there's a big one in Lancaster. That one had insane animatronics, like really big animatronic things. Yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, we'd
Every year we go to the South Cass
Oh,
Fire
yeah,
Company
yeah.
with
Are
the
they
pay
doing that
ride.
this year?
I don't know.
I don't know. We used to do that with
Oh,
Andy.
I go do that every year.
It was so fun,
It's just
and they
so
give us food at the
sweet.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, but we would 100% do a show at Shocktoberfest.
Yeah,
It probably
what?
wouldn't be able to be live because the internet thing, but we would come
yeah.
and film it and video at Shocktoberfest. That'd be fucking.
That
That'd be
would
fun.
be so fun.
I'm just about like being the first to do something like, oh, we've never
Yeah.
had a podcast here. Or we've never had a podcast in our business. Like,
Well,
because,
nice to meet ya.
Yeah.
Because like it's kind of not new, but it's kind of it's new to our area, and some people are still learning about what podcasts are. So it's like to kind of break that ground and be the first one to try it. Like it's fun.
Yeah, I'm
That's
down.
fun.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. Oh my god, we went the one time. Here's the last story, and we'll get out of
Your
here.
mom says night out.
We went to Shocktoberfest and we got the passes, and there was one spot that you had to pay extra for, but we were like part of the crew. And the theme was for this one it was like Jurassic Park. So there was there was zombies who were intensified with a thing to make them Indominus like
The
zombies.
Indominus. Oh
The
my
Indominus. It was fun.
gosh.
It was really fun.
Zombie dinosaurs?
No, like not dinosaurs, but they were kind of blending the two together, where they're special genes they put into a zombie to make them stronger. Like
Oh.
yeah,
Like
how-
what they did with the
T-Rex,
dinosaurs. Yeah.
And then there was one spot where the zombies come out, and then if you had paid for the special part, you take over the one side of the ride, and they pull you up to paintball guns, and you shoot the zombies as they
Oh,
come
that's
at you
cool.
with paintball guns. I'm a scumbag, right? So I get this. Everyone's firing at these zombies while they're far away, and your paintball gun's not. I fired my first shot, and I was like, I'm not hitting anything. I'm waiting until they get closer.
Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes.
I waited till the whites, and I started
They
unloading.
probably have all types of protective gear on underneath.
Oh, I love
They
them.
They
did.
know.
They did, but I found the holes.
You're such a dick.
This kid falls, right? Like he gets shot. I shoot him 4 times right in the nuts.
Oh
Right?
no, Tony!
Right? So he's playing into the game where he's like, oh my nuts, and he falls to the ground. He holds his nuts, and he's like writhing in pain. So while he's doing that, his head is turned, and he's like,
Not the
oh,
neck.
wow, 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 and he's like, oh.
God.
No, they don't have that thing anymore.
I hope not.
Tony ruined that for everybody.
This is why we can't have nice things, because Tony's a dick about it.
The owner started a truck and a brew at Shocktoberfest. Good food and drinks. Oh, they have beer there? Field of Screams. Thank you so much, Field of Screams. Yeah, Field of Screams is really cool. They have like, there's this one room where it's all snakes, and this huge, giant animatronic, huge snake came out, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it's really cool. They're cool. We have a lot of fun with those. I don't know with COVID if that's going to be a thing, but Heidi's soup.
I would want to.
But I think we're made up for it. We're going to like actual spooky, like we're going to Gettysburg.
Yeah,
we're going
true.
to Eastern State Penitentiary. We're going to Jim
pretty
Crow Prison.
booked.
Yeah, so we're going to like maybe not like attractions. We're going to like real, possible, scary, spooky places.
I'm going to Reapers on the 4th, which is the day after my birthday, the 3rd. So
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
It's your,
Happy early birthday.
thanks.
What, October?
Yeah, October 4th. Yeah.
Nice. That's soon.
Lisa, if she's still on her, she's paying for my ticket. So
No.
What a nice
Libra?
person.
You Libra?
yes.
Okay.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, her astrology sign.
Well, okay, so I'm one of the like when it comes to the astrology, I'm like it's more of just like
She hates you.
your
She
moon
has balance,
sign.
right?
Well,
that the
it could
scales?
be balance,
Debatable.
or it could be very very hard decision making.
Oh.
I mean,
are
it's
you bad at decision making? Typical Libra.
Juana Libra. It's so funny because
What are you?
I'm an Aries, which is it's just funny because Aries and Libra are opposite the spectrum, so they could be really really good together.
No
or,
fighting
like-
gals.
No fighting gals.
She had a little bit of giggle juice in her.
Because Aries always make like very quick impulsive decisions, and the Libra's like,
You think about it. You're kind of impulsive.
I'm very impulsive.
But you're very aware of it too. You'll be like, I think I did something. Can I talk to you about it?
yeah. I'm like, oh,
That's rare with me, very rare, but it does happen. I'm not.
What is Sagittarius? Like they run in naked and just hope to see what happens?
yeah. So they're just gone all the time, off doing their own little thing.
It's so weird because me and Heidi are both the same thing, but we're so polar opposites personality-wise.
And that's like that has to do with like there's your sun sign, which is like what like the year you're born, whatever, and then there's your moon sign. Then like it goes through like your Mercury, your Mars, your Venus, your 8th house, like all sorts of stuff.
Because everyone's like, oh, Sagittarius are these. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, you have not met my wife. My wife is the opposite of all of that. Like, we are the opposite of yin and yang, but we work so well together because of our opposites.
So your sun sign is how you are with yourself. Your moon sign is your emotions and how you deal with things, and then your ascendant sign is how you are projected to other people, and then it goes into the other the other planets.
My emotions are burn it down now and figure out
Hey,
about
Preed.
it.
burn it down, burn it down now.
Burn it down, and then after the flames are done, we'll figure out if I made the right choice.
So
or
here
not.
we go. Let's test her theory. What sign am I?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know your birthday.
I thought you could guess it because of my personality.
No.
Never mind.
You're
because I can't. Because I'd have to look into your moon.
Okay, yeah.
Your, like,
I would say
thought
you're a
she could guess
Tauros.
it. How about it? April 24th.
that's a Taurus.
I just thought because he's a bull.
How about...
He's a bull.
A
He's
bull,
stubborn.
he's
Yeah.
stubborn.
I don't think it's stubborn. People are like, hey, try this. Okay.
You're not stubborn. You're just
That's what they say.
You could be.
That's like the typical.
You could be. You're. And this is. I don't think this is a negative
Set in
thing.
your ways.
Yeah, I don't think this is a negative thing with you because I think it's a positive for you because you're set in your ways. That you're just like you will not give up to peer
Won't
pressure.
budge.
No.
Yeah, like
That's
you're
good.
very set in your convictions, and no one's gonna get you away from those.
Yeah, everyone should be.
That should be a future podcast where I go in and I read all of our natal charts.
Okay.
Natal just sounds creepy.
Yeah, it sounds like babies.
Yeah.
Do you want
How
me to read
about
your
like what was
natal
it?
chart?
10 years ago when they tried to add.
What do you think, Jen? Do you want me to read your natal
Yeah.
chart?
Ooh, yeah.
The beauty,
Buddhist.
literally the beauty of this show is it can go any direction. Like
Anywhere.
we can talk about spiritual, we could talk about that, we could do
Halloween attractions.
like spooky, any horror. Like we
Anything.
could do a horror movie episode.
That would be fun.
We can do conspiracy theories, cults,
Ideas.
murders,
Still haven't touched
moitas.
UFOs
It's been
yet.
a murder. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gearing up for.
I visited Frankenstein's castle when I was stationed
wow.
in Germany.
Whoa.
Frankenstein.
My mom, my
Frankenstein.
mom was born in Germany, on a Navy base.
Wow.
Navy.
I was in the army base.
Why are you
over
looking at
there.
me?
Yeah, we- yeah, my mom.
Married.
That's
You
crazy.
know.
So what was
I-
that like?
Yeah.
it was for Halloween,
Right.
but there was a story going around that a murder had just taken place there. Somebody was, I don't know, hung or something. I don't know. It was crazy. So it even made it like more
I
interesting
think
to
that was a
go
cool
there.
place just to look at how it was built. and
It
architecture.
was. It really was.
I want to do in Dracula's castle.
Dracula.
Vlad.
Dracula.
Vlad the
Vlad the
Impaler.
Impaler. That could be an episode too.
That would be great.
We're just fucking talking.
Well,
now.
we have to wait for whoever we want to do the human sacrifice because that would be a good one. For that to
Please
bring
put the candle back.
up. Put the candle back.
We don't have
I
a
am
candle
watching
today.
that movie tonight.
That's
Oh
a
my
good
God,
one.
I love
That's so funny.
that. The horses neigh every time they hear
Frau Brucker.
Ross in the hay. Oh my god. That's fucking.
Jesus.
If you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Young Frankenstein. You've never seen Young
I've seen it
Frankenstein?
when I was
It's
young,
a-
but I
it's a
couldn't tell
good
you
one.
anything about
It's
it.
such a good movie. Gene Wilder, he's a fucking.
It's an older movie.
I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, that's a
personally
good
favorite
one.
of mine.
I
That's
hate
a good
musicals. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I love Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. is a
Yeah.
lot too.
I can't.
I was actually in a couple years ago. I was Magenta in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
nice.
That was fun.
My patience
was
for
fun.
musical is very, very small.
Have you watched Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Hate it.
Really?
I
you
hate
sound
singing.
like my husband Alex. He's like, it's so weird.
If there was no singing, I'd like it. If they edit out all the singing, I'll watch it.
Damn
That's why I like it.
Janet.
Yeah.
Damn it, Janet. I love
just,
you.
It's just so hard to like. Tim Curry can do no wrong in my brain.
God, yeah.
It's fact
Come
attack.
up to the lab
Yeah.
and see what's on the slab.
I was doing the time warp this weekend. Toolshed Jack played it.
Well-
I was
Oh,
the only one
hell
doing
yeah.
it. I don't
When
care.
Tim
Hell
Curry
yeah.
does that look at the camera where he raises his eyebrow, I'm like, you're
I'm- I melt.
you're a good looking dude in that
I
scene. man.
melt.
I'm not into guys, but Tim Curry.
But if I was,
Yeah.
If I was, it'd be Tim Curry in drag.
Somebody
I
should
can-
tweet him. Is he still alive?
I can appreciate.
God, I hope so.
I think so.
I think he is. He's just. I don't think he's doing too well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable
gotta be
enough
pretty
in my
old now.
sexuality to tell another boy that they look good with makeup on. Like
I'm proud
Mandy,
of you.
like Andy. But,
Yeah, you're beautiful when you
Thank
dress
you.
up.
Brian kills it with fucking makeup.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Brian.
No, Bryant.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing with makeup on.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm comfortable enough with myself with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no shame in my game. Not playing for that team, but
Well, thank you, everybody.
I'll tell you. I'll
With
tell
them-
you you're very
With
pretty.
them words.
With that note,
I'll tell
Join
you,
us
I'll tell
next
you you're very
week.
pretty. Tim Curry, ladies and gentlemen. Young Frankenstein the musical is even more fun. I didn't even know they did a actually, I was taken to a like live action version of like where they bring it to a theater and then they have the actors
Oh,
act it
yeah.
out and then everyone throws shit.
Oh,
screams.
Oh, yep, the callbacks.
Oh, I thought you meant like
Callbacks
a live
and
action
everything.
of Young Frankenstein. I was like, what?
No.
Oh,
They,
no,
so what they
that's
do is
how
I'm-
it started
I'm-
as a
I'm-
cult.
yeah. So
Because the actual it started as a cult because the movie came out and the movie tanked. But it's like The Room where it was so bad that it developed a cult following that people would actually when they would play it, they would play it on the screen and they would have actors to kind of like it's called the shadow cast.
yeah.
And so I did that and so then like they would have like these little cult cues like of like different add-ins that people would just scream at the audience to
Yeah.
like throw or they would have like
they did
squirт
that.
guns and just like
Mhm.
squirt
In
people and stuff
Coaldale,
like
there's a theater. I think it was Coaldale. somewhere up
Maybe.
there.
It makes your experience of watching that movie even better. Like so that when the movie starts, there's a wedding scene,
Mhm.
and then everyone throws rice at the screen,
Mhm.
and then you can
that.
get
All
a
the
car-
callbacks are
Yeah,
so
it makes
disgusting. It's amazing.
it makes the movie experience so much better.
Yeah, it's very great.
I love that movie. All right, that'll do it.
Yep.
Truth Behind Illusion. Thank you guys for hanging out this entire
Thank
time. You guys
you.
are the real legends here. We need a cool like sign out like. See you
Signing
later. See you later, yeah, cool cats and kittens or something like.
Hey, cool
Or
cats and
70s
kittens.
DJ.
No, like a spooky one. Like, don't get possessed by the devil. I don't know.
We'll think of
We'll
one.
think-
We'll think of
Think of
one.
a cool call tag. And
Yeah.
if you create it, we'll give you credit, and we'll put it on a T-shirt or something. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Here is some cool music by Max Bolton. Bye.
The truth behind illusion. always deceive you and play tricks on you. When you see an unfamiliar face in the mirror,